stage. So fade away and return to nothing. Your strength is great, but you're no match for me now. I'll let you live on the entertaining. God of all creation, God of your creation now. So fade away and return to nothing. Your strength is great, but you're no match for me now. I'll let you live for the entertaining. God of all creation, God of your creation now. Pasta and yogurt, it tastes like heaven. And we eating pasta and it.
Alright, just start it there.
Yeah. We've ended careers before. They call us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Played hero, Roroni, Kenshin. We kicked it aside of your door. Use the wonder again to step in. Where was that bravado you had a hot minute ago? And we got ups, but I wouldn't say we beat. How the saying goes, it's a two-way street. Get me on the pipe and you know they had a tweak. I'm just trying to lay my name, you get what I'm speaking. We entertain the masses and anywhere the weekend. There's some asshole think that he can press the lead and put the whole squad down, get out within the weekend. But we stars, boys, so continue going see. We've ended careers before. They call us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Play hero, Roroni, Kenshin. We kicked it aside of your door. Use the one who will get to step in. Where was that bravado you had a hot minute ago? Talk big game till you learn it ain't one. Catching nails on this track's another freight time. Not a single dub, so you gotta make one. G, get domino, trying to cook some great stuff.
You can keep ducking, this be the season. But how can we down and new in our treasures while casually pressing your buttons? You keep pretending and nothing, but we can tell you be button. Try threatening us with a poker, but your face looking all flushed. And we calling out all the bluffs and we telling you what is left. And we saying enough's enough, but you trying to keep acting tough. If you really think that you run, let me tell you, you ain't the one. Cause the song will be nothing speakers and the whole team finna pump it, y'all.
We've ended careers before. They call us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Played hero, Roroni, Kenshin. We kicked it aside of your door. Use the one who will get to step in. Where was that?
I've realized that I need to be crystal clear about what I believe, so there's no room for ambiguity.
Listen up, Anita keeps denying the pussy, bitch. You'll find me in. It's not like these fucking who get down on their knees and go shrine to the pussy, please. Cause how am I supposed to even compete with African wildebeest? This slut married a millionaire, took most of the hair that grows on his head. She just wanted to date a tramp and shoot heroin. Trust me, she'd come drain Froggy fresh too if I didn't boot her from the main event. We never fakin', never go woke. Tell you, then awaken. Man, she's one with the pics. How can she hate bacon? She'd say something like, if you ain't earned your strike, boy, I guess it's there for the taking. I took 2 shots right to the hippocampus, shook like a bitch while my bitch spread her fat puss. Took 2 shots right to the hippocampus and started crying right before I hit the canvas. Damn, that's a motherfucking. Can you remember when you weren't such a dude? I thought you were actually funny when you weren't such a nothing but a everywhere I go, look at this damn. Now that's a straight up. I don't think anyone deserves that level of cruelty or hate. It's also indoctrinated a lot of people into thinking that this is an okay way to behave. I got bullied for my packed lunch when I was at school. Dropped my head in the toilet, wrapped a chain and then pulled. One day I called in. I thought it would be cold. 20 years later, I don't throw punches, I prep bowls. And my wife's fucked at least 100 of the same fools. They stretch the bitch open with their medical tools.
Shut the fuck up, Ian, and sit on the cock stool.
My head's still in the toilet, eating all the soft stool. You dumb bitch, how can you display the gash to everyone at the motherfucking creator clash? So I guess they finally grasped that G-rated ass is worth 20 times more than a chin made of glass. You can still taste dried up jizz on this beta cache. Let's just say some niggas became attached. Ian dropped the keys, dropped the paper stash. Didn't even leave here with my name attached. That's all in the past, I'm the future of this bitch. Why else would they call me Beta Max? Man, the piece is a blast. Sometimes we sit back and laugh and just freeze frame the moment that my face got smashed. She says that it's her favorite match, my greatest chance to get a semi-dilated snatch. So when your legs open smoothly and almost mechanically, I know it's the ass whooping fucking Wasabi handed me. God damn, that's a motherfucking. Can you remember when you weren't such a dude? I thought you were actually funny when you weren't such a nothing but a everywhere I go, look at this damn. Now that's straight up. I'm also sorry to all the black viewers and minority groups who had to put up with that video. I was being cruel, hateful, bigoted, and being very uncaring about people's feelings.
Son, listen carefully. I am an officer of the court investigating a felony.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Happy Sunday Dogwave Day. I think Temp is like stuck to staring at something right now.
No.
No?
No. I can stop my timer whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Hi, chat. How we doing?
Thank you for becoming a yippee. Let me refresh the alert box widget because it looks like it's not working again. Nerdy, you've been a member for 11 months in a row. That's amazing. Some people are approaching almost 2 years now, so that's pretty neat. Thank you for being a member, though. I very much appreciate it. What?
Hey, the dog has breast.
Dog does have breast, yes. Yes, chat. So do I.
I think, to be fair, when the actual model is like, when everything is said and done, dog's titties are going to be as big as Akko's titties, at least on screen.
Oh, so you're going to try to outmatch me, huh?
I'm sorry I like the big titty.
See what I have to deal with, chat? See what I have to deal with? Anyway, Mizu's going to come in at some point tonight. He told me he's running a little bit late, but that's fine because tonight on Dogwave, we have... You know, I'm going to be honest. I didn't think we would be tag teaming Pirate Software 2 weeks in a row. But sometimes...
The man won't stop opening his mouth.
Yeah, the guy won't fucking stop talking. And rule number 1 of the internet is when you're involved in drama, and this is a lesson that I obviously should take to heart just a little bit more than I do. But rule number 1 of the internet, when you are in drama, you stop talking about it. Because the moment you stop talking about it is the moment that things get a little bit better for you. Because like once you go quiet, it gives you time to... Sorry, I just noticed that my VTube studio is going a little slow. I hope that it doesn't
Yeah,
stay
that
like
happens.
that. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Well,
yeah.
welcome to VTube Studio.
It's not VTube Studio. OBS is taking almost 50% of my computer again. Fuck. And I can't do nothing about that. I mean, it's running fast enough, thankfully. But I'll need to.
That's why you have 2 computers for this.
Yeah, but like, it's the computer that's streaming right now, and I'd have to kill the stream if I. I'd have to kill my stream.
But because you're not gaming on it, it doesn't matter.
I feel like you're missing the point of what I'm saying, but that's okay.
No, I'm not missing the point. But you don't need to worry about it if all it's doing is just this.
Just a little bit. But anyway. Welcome to Dogwave chat. And tonight I actually have something really fun and cool to share with you guys. Here, I will share it with Temp right now. It is a very nice thing I asked. I was like, you know what? I recently got my first payout from Advanced GG. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate.
Very concerned what you're doing. Temp wants to have an anime chess bump stare down against Akko. We technically
have done that before. We've done that before.
It's just business. Also, you are sharing it. You didn't. Okay, I didn't realize you were streaming in Discord.
Yes. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask Advanced if I can put the logo on this, and if they say yes, I'm gonna have the artist put the logo on it. And yeah, I kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. I decided to steal somebody else's idea and make it my own. Was the paycheck large? It was at the very least enough for me to pay for this art piece.
Was the paycheck large, like Temp's breasts?
Yes. Yes, pretty much. Have I heard that Hassan might get sued? Who's going to sue him? Is Legal Mindset going to sue him? That would be kind of... If Andrew sues him, that would be kind of funny. Don't know if that's actually going to happen.
It was Billy Mitchell, but he said that about Pirate Software.
Yeah, Billy... we'll talk about that. I don't even know what the fuck Billy Mitchell would sue him over, but Billy Mitchell has decided to say to the internet that he is going to sue Pirate Software, or that Pirate Software will be sued, which is really just code for him saying that he's going to sue somebody, I believe. So I don't know how that's going to work. A lot of people can sue. Well, obviously anybody can sue Hassan, chat, but you kind of have to have a good reason for it. So I don't know. I don't know what anything about that. People would have to give me that. Is Temp pregnant?
No. Look, for those who don't know why I gave the dog tits, the femboy drama happened.
Temp is like terrified of being a femboy now.
Do you blame me?
I'm not saying I blame you.
To be fair, the original idea was originally going to be what we're doing now, and then chat voted for femboy.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. Yes, eventually, chat, Temp is going to get the booba. He's going to get the extreme booba.
Yeah.
I am going to tell Ari that he cannot be bigger than me. I'm going to pull a cinder on you. I'm going to pull a cinder on you and tell him that he can only work on you if you are slightly smaller than me.
I'm going to counter that by giving him more money.
Oh, are you going to pay for it? Or I thought I was going to pay for it.
No, you are.
Okay.
Akko owes me a lot of money.
I owe you like $200, yes.
Yeah.
But
and I'm working on the design. I'm not showing it, but I'm working.
You shouldn't show it. You should do a proper debut. So
that's the plan. That is the plan.
But yes, chat, Temp is planning on that.
If we get proper memberships or like a way to do like paid content, I'm not gonna lock stuff behind it. But if people do pay, and if I do get to that point, maybe I'll show snippets of what this is.
We'll see. We'll see.
But Akka's gonna pay Temp's boob job? Yes.
Like I said, It's got to be smaller than me.
No. Make sure to get a massager for your back pains.
Oh my goodness.
Ironically, I've already thought in lore how to fix such issues.
Oh, so like you're basically doing femdog, but it's not femdog. It's just female dog.
Yes.
So it's a bitch.
Yes.
See what I did there, chat?
So.
Oh.
Chat's gonna look like smuggled car airbags.
Nah. It'll be just fine.
I already have back pain. I don't need breasts.
Oh goodness.
Speaking of chat, speaking about that.
Wait,
we are
what?
4 subs from 500.
Oh, okay. I was just like, wait, what?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, Mizu's already here.
Welcome, Mizu. How are you doing?
I said I'd just be a little late.
Yeah. He's 7 minutes
I
late.
have business.
You had the business. Oh, speaking of which, you missed it, but I have a new art piece that I am going to share with you. I'm going to just DM it to you.
Fair.
I'm going to see if I can put the Advanced GG logo on it and just start using that.
Good luck.
How you doing tonight?
I am tired.
You were tired? Was it a long day?
It was, and everybody wants me to do a bunch of stuff.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine. I'm just tired.
Oh, fair enough. Are you going to use your model tonight, or do you want to just use picture?
Oh, you got my picture. It's all good.
All right. Let me...
But yeah, chat. So we're 4 subs from 500. And for those who don't know, I promised chat once we have 500 subs on YouTube that we're playing Resident Evil 7. And if things go well, we may be doing a longer stream on Friday. So that way, if we hit it by 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing Resident Evil 7 basically in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if we get to 500 subs, we'll be doing that.
Sub to temp chat. I want him to play horror game. Very scary horror game.
And then sub to Mizu.
Yeah, sub to Mizu as well. I don't, unfortunately I don't have your links like saved as a button. I should like get some of the members of Lucky saved so that I could just put their YouTube channels in there. I don't know. But anyway, how was your guys' week? What did you both do this week?
I had job.
You had job?
I had job.
You had job. Job was tiring.
It was.
Yeah. What about you, Temp? Well, how was your week? Your week wasn't with me, so now you can't say it was all about me anymore.
It wasn't all about you. My week was busy.
Yeah.
But I will be totally honest, I spent most of my free time this week either working on the new dog design or playing Isaac.
Fair enough.
But on the bright side, I did unlock Holy Mantle on Lost and Keeper.
Is that good?
Yes,
I imagine
an unholy amount of greed mode, and it's done.
Well, that's good. It was like what, 500 coins in greed mode or resetting greed?
It is 875, I believe, for Holy Mantle, and exploded like not like 1,000 coin machine for Keeper in greed.
I see.
Which means you have to make it to fight Ultra Greed every single time.
That sucks.
And I did it.
Well, now you're gonna go back and play Expedition 33, right? Like you said, right?
Yes, I actually resumed that today.
That's good.
And I got the final party member.
Oh goodness. Well, that's
and
good.
I started my another Cyberpunk playthrough.
Of course. I know.
Look,
you.
I started that for other reasons, and then I've been in the mood.
Really? Other reasons. Chat. He installed horny mods. That's what he did.
No. I installed it to use the character creator.
He doesn't want He's not beating the allegations, chat, is what I'm saying. He's playing.
You really want to know? I installed it for Dog.
Oh, you installed it to fuck it? What? Wait, what? Why? What do you do? What are you talking about here? I'm a little confused.
Are you actually confused, or are you playing a bit? Because it could be either or.
It definitely is playing a bit.
I know. Temp did it probably because Anime Season 2. No, actually, I started it before Season 2 was announced. Do we want to talk about that?
Season 2 of what?
Edgerunners.
Oh, right. Edgerunners is getting a second season. First off, did you both like Edgerunners?
I never watched it.
You never watched? Oh, Mizu, we got to put that on the anime docket then.
Okay, so I guess on that note, I guess I should talk about that. I have been considering starting a community night in the Discord.
Okay.
Not like committed to every week, but I've been told some people haven't watched Edgerunners, and I've been wanting to watch it again.
Okay.
So I might be doing that, not next week. It'll be the week after if I do it, because next week, starting Tuesday, is my busiest week of the month.
Oh yeah, it's your busy week month, and you're busy all week.
I am busy all week.
Fair enough.
We will still be doing streams all week, but
just not on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So next week, I'm thinking like the week after, we'll be doing watch party for Edgerunners in my Discord.
Okay, fair enough. I see some chat saying, why are we getting a second season? We didn't really need one. And so here's the thing, chat. The city of 2077 is pretty massive, and in my personal opinion, you can have multiple.
The world itself is pretty massive too.
It is. I would say that the world is so massive that there's a lot of stories that can be told in Edgerunners. So I bet you the second season isn't even going to be about the people that were in the first season. Or if it is, it'll be about very specific individuals that carry over into that season.
So I just went ahead and started streaming it so we can talk about it.
Okay. Are you streaming the trailer? Or okay, you're just...
No, I refuse to stream the trailer to anyone.
Fair enough.
The trailer has the biggest spoilers of the first season in it.
Ah, okay, yeah, probably.
So I'm not going to. I have actively told Malice to avoid it like the plague, because I know he wants to watch it, and yeah.
It's very nice of you, Tim. Very, very nice of you. I'm glad that you're not choosing to spoil the show for people.
So, during Anime Expo, Studio Trigger. No, sorry, it wasn't even during Anime Expo. It was just during that time period. It wasn't even at Anime Expo. Netflix and Studio Trigger announced Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2. I'm going to make it very clear that even though we've been saying Season 2, it is not a Season 2, so to speak.
Right.
Because the point of this show is it's going to follow an entirely new cast.
Okay, just exactly like I said.
Yes.
Okay.
We might have references to the first season. We might have references to the game. But overall, it is going to be a straight up new show, essentially.
I see. Night City has a lot of stuff, but it never made itself like it was a Twilight Zone kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, like, again, it's just like one of those things where it's just like, oh my gosh, something's always happening in New York. But like,
and the funny thing is that city is California.
Well, yeah, it's just like the thing that you have to ask yourself is how much of Night City do you really need to explore? How many stories?
Fair, we've explored all of it.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, how many stories are they going to tell before it just feels like it's overdone and it just doesn't feel interesting anymore? That's what I'm trying to say.
I completely agree. I think that they will stop using Night City when Cyberpunk 2 comes out.
That's right. They are working on a Cyberpunk 2 and it'll be just as buggy as the first one.
Yeah. So I think that's when they'll stop using Night City, because there are like a vast amount of stories they can tell, and it really depends on like the time period as well.
Okay.
Like, if, say, this season took place after the end of the game, the consequences of that with Arasaka as an example. So...
Right.
There are implications depending on when the show takes place.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So we actually got more information on this despite the post, and it actually comes from the official Cyberpunk website.
Okay.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2 presents a new standalone 10-episode story from the world of Cyberpunk 2077. A raw chronicle of redemption and revenge in a city that thrives in the spotlight of violence. One question remains. When the world is blinded by spectacle, what extremes do you have to go to make your story matter? So the theme here is not becoming a legend like the game and the first season were. It is about making yourself matter, period.
Okay.
Director Kai Ikarashi, so the director behind Edgerunners and Triple S Gridman, brings a bold cinematic vision to the series, supported by the lead character designer Kano Ichigo, who is the character designer for Promare and the first season of Edgerunners. Returning with collaborators Masahiko Otsuka, which did Gurren Lagann and Promare, and the writer for the original show.
Promare was a good movie.
So a lot of this, they didn't flat out say it, but they're essentially saying it here that season 2 is also being done by Studio Trigger.
I would hope so. It's their baby.
And I don't know if anyone noticed, there is at least, I don't know, it's either going to be a new Lolly main character or a new Shota main character.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Now,
they do love their
we're not-
Lolly and Shota, so I would be surprised
Yeah.
if they didn't include something like that.
Now, okay, now to be fair, we're not sure if this is the main character, but they're the only one that has a full-on blown, like,
Outline?
head to toe,
Oh,
like, art.
I see. I kind of see what you mean, I guess.
So, again, because it's Cyberpunk, we're not sure if it's like a Lolly or a Shota, but based on the size, it is one of the two.
Well, like I said, you know that they love their Lolly and Shota at Studio Trigger, so...
Yeah. Aka's not showing it, but I am on my screen. Chat, if you want to see what I'm showing.
Here, chat, give me one moment. Let me get safe from the sandworm, and I can show it. By the way, Tim, you're showing your tabs. Just letting you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I made sure to sort everything so I didn't dox myself.
But did you really? Oh.
Yes.
Mizu over here.
Yes, I did.
There we go. Well, they,
So,
what was that? Like, that's the Shota right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this is where I will spoil it slightly. To be fair, though, anyone who watched the original trailers for the first season probably knew this was going to be the case.
Uh-huh.
This very well could be a potential kid of David and Lucy. But that, again, depends how far in the future they take it.
I hope not. I really hope not. I'm going to be honest with you. I would prefer to just, like, have a new person.
I would too. But
What?
now, I do notice here that this is not a gun they're holding. That is a camera.
Where? Oh, that? Yeah, that is a camera.
That's a camera. How, chat? I mean, it's pretty obvious how they could, because I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but there are implications that could be the route they go.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
I want a black trans woman main character. I'm good, thanks.
I'd prefer not to.
Trigger will not do that. Trigger will keep things
Listen.
as...
Trigger is one of the few anime production companies that actually, like, makes really good stories. And I don't think that that's what they're going to put in there.
any word from Mike Pondsmith about season 2? No. And there is no release date. All they've said is it is in production. I do suspect it will be next year, though. Probably about September next year.
Right.
Because that's about when the first season came out. Or, and I really hope they don't do this, but they could save this show coming out around the same time that they properly announce Cyberpunk 2. But the fact that we're on the heels of a Witcher 1 remake and Witcher 4, it will be at least 3 years before we see that.
You think so?
Yes.
I thought David was infertile because of his cyber. See, here's my thing. I thought cybernetics just made you infertile because it's cybernetics, but you know.
That very well could have been the case, but that also depends on like which David you're talking about. Again, I don't want to spoil it. Akko knows like what I mean by this, I hope. Like the first half of the show and then the second half.
Let's just move on from it because otherwise I am going to accidentally spoil somebody.
Yeah.
Let's move on from Edgerunners. There really isn't a whole lot there other than just it's being announced.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. James Gunn pissed off a lot of people.
What did he do this time?
So we know Superman is coming out this month, right?
Okay. Yeah, it is this month. I remember.
James Gunn says Superman is about an immigrant that came from other places and how we've lost the value of basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics.
Gosh, damn.
So, yeah.
See, here's the problem. He's not 100% wrong.
He's not.
But, like, do you really need to do that, broski?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think they said it about a month, maybe 2 months ago, where one of Superman's original quotes, like back in the old comics, back in the old cartoons, was like truth, justice, and the American way. Like that's kind of always been his thing. There's a reason why for a long time there, Superman was essentially the DC version of Captain America.
Uh-huh.
At least on principle. Not so much anymore,
Gosh,
because
damn,
now they're saying
that.
like the human way instead of the American way.
Uh-huh.
Which it's not going well. And I'm hearing that the reviews, like the people actually watching the show, like the movie now, like for reviewers, is awful.
Oh, the test viewings is what you mean.
No, the test viewings months and months ago were also bad.
Okay.
And then they did reshoots. I'm talking about the people who are watching it this week for reviews are saying it's awful.
I see.
So the overall reception has not been good for this movie.
It does not sound like it's been very good. No. I guess we'll have to wait and see, like, just where it goes. That's not good. I'm sorry.
A scene where one of the main villains, because it's a movie with multiple villains, apparently punched Crypto, which is Superman's dog.
Yes,
and they
I heard about that
from the movie.
I mean,
trigger warnings ruin people.
Yeah, they do.
To be fair, I don't think any man really wants to see a dog get punched.
There is a certain level, and
He's a villain.
Yeah.
Also, Crypto is also a superhero, so it's not fair that he doesn't get hit, but he can hit other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people saying, oh, they should have said the Henry Cavill, I'm okay with them not doing that because him not being Superman means he can do other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Warhammer, or hell, if they want to go the route and double down on like another universe version of like Wolverine, like they teased in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's cool. Or, you know,
He's also super dog. Yeah, chat, I understand that like evil guy's gonna punch a dog, but still, I don't think people really want to. I don't think people really enjoy seeing dogs get hurt. It's one of those things where like you know, people. I feel like people put dogs and children kind of like in the same camp of do not harm, and whenever you see a dog get harmed, I think people have like a visceral anger like reaction. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
it would not surprise me if people get upset just because they see a dog get punched.
I've said this for years, and I don't know how people will feel, but DC has, in my opinion, never been good with live action movies. Where they have shined has been animation, like TV, like cartoons, animated movies, etc. That's where DC shines. Marvel is the other direction. At least it was for a while.
I don't think they're necessarily that much anymore, sadly.
Yeah, but back then, where we see like the occasional, you know, Batman or Superman or Justice League cartoon, we'd see stuff like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or like the live action X-Men movies or Fantastic Four, etc. Like Marvel did better live action, DC did better animation.
From MommaOcco.
Thank you for the 5 young.
$5 for more hats. Millions are
You did have another super chat above that too from
I
Mercenary.
did. I have some super chats I need to catch up on, and then I have some super chats for this. And when we get to a super chat segment, I'll read them.
Yep. So, apparently the overall consensus is that superhero movies are doing awful, which we suspected.
Listen, I believe in...
They were always doing awful. That's my hot take.
Fair.
I think there was a lull period where they weren't doing so bad, but I can kind of agree with Mizu on that one.
Well, after Endgame, like, we started seeing it near the end of, like, Phase 3 of the MCU. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Black Panther. I did not like Captain Marvel. And there were problems in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And then, you know...
Superhero movies should never be live action, just like anime should never be live action.
Fair.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, fair.
I can definitely agree with that. Oh, that's a cliff I'm about to drive off of.
And I don't care who's doing it. I don't care how good it is. It's never as good as the series it's trying to adapt. Point blank, none.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So we had the... Like, Black Panther and Captain Marvel weren't great. The end of Phase 3 just kind of was a stinker. We had a few highlights near the end of Phase 3. I feel like the Spider-Man movies just overall have been great, but I think that is a result of Sony, not like Disney specifically.
Yeah.
But overall, Marvel went from it's great and just downward spiral since. And now they're at rock bottom and not even, they can't get higher.
Gosh damn it.
Like, they're digging the hole so deep, it's going to take a monumental victory to pull them out of that.
Yeah. I mean, Disney as a whole has just kind of been in it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Blade, that is all. Don't get me started on Blade. Did you hear about... so you know the movie Sinners, right?
No, do not.
It's the other movie that Ryan Coogler... I think it's his name? The guy who did the first Black Panther movie and the second one. Yeah, I don't quite know what the movie was about, but it was a lot of black people, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Like, it was supposed to be like, kind of like Roots, I think is like the idea, like a horror Roots, I think. I could be wrong on that. And Disney sold the costumes from the Blade movie that was supposed to be for the MCU to the production team of Sinners.
Okay. Is Sinners like a fucking...
It's a vampire movie.
But is it a Marvel movie?
No. No, it's not. But they weren't using the costumes for Blade at all, so they just sold them.
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
And now the movie is basically in an indefinite hiatus moment, to the point it's practically canceled.
It's just going to become another tax write-off.
Yep, exactly.
On.
So.
Sorry, Chad. I'm eating dinner.
And then on top of all that, I think Fantastic Four comes out in 2 weeks.
Is it really 2 weeks away? Holy shit.
Yeah, we have Superman, and then like a week later, Fantastic Four. And if we thought the test review period of Superman was bad, I'm hearing even worse stuff about Fantastic Four.
Well, what are you hearing?
That it is one of the biggest piles of dog shit that Disney has ever done with Marvel.
The Fantastic Four, right?
Yes.
Oh dear, that's not good.
Yeah, like
I know Yellow Flash was kind of hoping it was all right, but
let's put it this way: not Inhumans. What are the Celestials movie? Like, was it Inhumans? No.
I don't know. You're more of the superhero man than me.
Worst MCU movies. It'll be in the list like of that. Eternals. That was it. It's literally number fucking 1.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna check my food too.
Alrighty.
I put it on like the auto cooker and stuff before I came over.
Is it rice and chicken?
Don't question me.
I'm not questioning you. It's good. That's good shit.
But yeah, it is Eternals, chat. Thank you for reminding me.
I never watched Eternals. I know nothing about Eternals. All I know is that everybody hates it. Okay, take his blood.
It is the biggest woke fest.
That is not his blood. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's put it this way. For a movie about what could essentially be the Greek gods, but it's like interplanetary gods.
Uh-huh.
One of them's a Muslim, one of them is disabled, one of them is black, one of them is blind.
So I want to make it clear right now, chat, we have no issues with any of those distinctions or things. All right, you can be Muslim or black or disabled. We don't care if you are. But putting all of those together in a room is just like none of those people are going to get along eventually.
That is a checking marks off a box. That's all that was.
I have to ask, when you say disabled, what kind of disabled are we talking?
One is gay. Yeah, one is also gay.
Oh yeah, the Muslim definitely won't get along with that.
Hold on. What was the Eternals? Let's see.
Sorry, chat. If you're Muslim and you have a gay person, they ain't getting along. I'm sorry. If it's after Endgame, don't watch it. Oh, trust me, I haven't. I mean, the Spider-Man movies have been alright.
Okay, so there was an Indian, black guy. The problem is, like, I haven't actually watched the movie because of how awful it was. So I'm trying to remember who is who.
Uh-huh.
I could be wrong on the disabled bit though. But that's the thing, is like when you can it felt like Eternals really tried checking off a box. So like when you're thinking about items on a checklist, that's what you think about. So
interesting.
Yeah. If they wanted diversity, just use the X-Men. Don't give them ideas. They already want to make Magneto black.
They're gonna they're gonna turn Magneto into a black Jew.
Yes.
Now that's quite the oppression, chat.
Oh, the speedster is deaf. Okay, so that's the disability I'm thinking of. Oh, and there's a woman who's mute, which is another disability.
And she's a woman.
Okay. Yeah. So the actor that's being rumored for Magneto is Denzel Washington. Which, he's a great actor. It's just a black making Magneto black does not make sense.
Yeah.
At all. Because that was at the height of World War II.
And I mean, like, you know, I would say that racism wasn't that bad back then. Oh, hi there. Racism wasn't that bad back then, but like, you know, black Jew, that sounds,
Yeah.
they are really trying to go for them oppression points.
And it sounds like they're also thinking about making Professor X black. Which, racism in Germany. Yeah.
What? All I'm saying, black Jew and at Magneto. That is hilarious.
Magneto's supposed to be a Holocaust hero? Yes. I don't know.
I just don't think that Marvel's thinking this through. That sounds like such a bad idea in terms of story continuity. Listen, I'm all for having black characters play white characters if they can fit it and it works. But like,
yeah,
Magneto is the worst one to do in my personal opinion.
Completely agreed.
If he wasn't Jewish, that'd be a different story.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is oy vey. Oh.
Yeah, so. Like, at this point,
Thank
yeah.
you. Chat, come on now. You guys are funny. You know I'm not black.
I have returned.
I'm Italian.
Welcome back.
What about Italians?
Oh. Chat said that I'm black, and I was like, no, chat, you know I'm not black. I'm Italian.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one, because now that both of you are here, I think I want both of your opinions on this.
Okay.
Crafton announces gaming industry veteran Steve Papoutsis as new CEO of Unknown Worlds.
What's Unknown Worlds again?
I already talked about Unknown Worlds. Akko did too. They replaced all the devs for Subnautica.
Oh, yeah, they did. And so now I am no longer interested in Subnautica 2. Well, I'm minimally interested. There's a little bit of a difference. But...
yeah, so Crafton
The new director for it is the guy that made Callisto Protocol.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's a terrible game.
Yeah.
It also tells me that they are trying to lean into the horror aspect of Subnautica, which was not intended.
Yes.
Well, the horror was like a nice little extra thing, but the horror is not why you played Subnautica. Played Subnautica to build
the devs specifically did not intend for it to be a horror experience. That was accidental.
It just ended up being that way.
Which means to tell me that these guys don't understand that, and they see Subnautica as a horror game first, so they got a horror game dev to work on it.
Exactly.
And that's not a good idea, in my personal opinion, because first and foremost, Subnautica is a game that people enjoyed for a lot of reasons, and none of them were really horror. The exploration of being underwater, the dread of actually being underwater. I don't think none of it has to do with like horror, in my personal opinion.
I'm gonna put this in a really interesting way. Now this is from the mouth of someone who is like within the circle of like the Runaway Guys, Proton John, like that circle.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. For those who don't know what I'm talking about Steven Plays. He streamed Subnautica last year, and he's like, okay, we'll do this. Cool, fine. And when he finished playing the game, he actively said, this was the scariest game I've ever played. And he does very well with horror. So the fact that he said Subnautica was the scariest game he's ever played, when it wasn't even intended to be a horror game.
He's a baby then. Sorry.
Well, my thing is, because it wasn't intended to be a horror game, if you try and force it to be a horror game, now
Yep.
it's just not going to have the same oomph.
Yeah.
That's why, and after Beyond, not Beyond Light, I'm thinking Destiny, Below Zero happened, I really feel like Subnautica was lightning in a bottle.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I think with the co-op aspect, Subnautica 2 still has the potential to be at least fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will have the DNA of what made Subnautica 1 so beloved.
Well, I mean, like, that's pretty big given considering the fact that all of the original devs for the game are gone.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah.
Not the original devs, the creative leads.
Okay. So, do they have are the original devs still there?
So, let me go ahead and give this a read for you, so you have the full context. New leadership to prioritize development momentum and delivering best possible fan experience for long-anticipated Subnautica 2 launch. Crafton, the local video game
Real
holding
quick,
company...
that's also the other problem, is they are specifically hiring these people to finish the game quicker.
Yes.
That is the sole reason they've been brought in.
Mizu's very correct here. My guess is that they were... basically went to Crafton and said, hey, we need more time on this because it's not ready. And they basically said, you already said 2025. We're releasing it 2025. You can't deliver that. Get out.
I see. So they're being pressured by higher ups.
They can't deliver that, they tossed them to the curb.
Didn't the original devs fire the sound guy for being pro Gamergate? They fired him for voting Trump, which I still think was a massive fucked issue.
Yes, because the music was fantastic, and you're not going to get music like that in the second game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Below Zero already proved it. Below Zero's music was a lot more sort of like techno and was clearly meant to be more music.
Yeah.
Whereas the original guy did atmospheric music.
Which is kind of something that you need in a game like this.
Environmental storytelling is what that music really delivered.
Yeah.
Not to mention how hard they whipped on the
And it's okay to have music, but when Subnautica 1 did the environmental storytelling through its world and its soundtrack so well, going to a point where it's straight up like your typical video game music is like not great.
Well, because here's the thing, right? And what worries me is because I'm looking at it from where we're kind of losing the same team that made both Subnautica and Below Zero. So while Below Zero was a subpar experience, it was subpar because of the story and because they tried to focus on the walking on land aspect of it.
Which sucked.
Yes.
But the creature design was amazing. I liked the new vehicles, even if other people didn't like them. The underwater areas I did like. I liked how they started to gate progression more based on like what vehicles you had, as opposed to how they were trying to do it originally, where it was just like depth modules.
Yeah. No, I would agree that that was a better way of doing it. And so now it's just like, well, where are we going to go now? You know what I mean? I'm very kind of like freaked out with what to expect from the game now. You know?
So this article is very misleading. If you were to take it at face value, this could be a good thing.
Imagine that. Article's misleading.
Exactly. So they flat say Papoutsis replaces the previous leadership team. Ted Gill, Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire. This website is badly designed.
So really quick, here's kind of why I don't like this, right? So it is, if they like all the like actual artists and stuff on the game, all the devs, it's good that they're still there as far as I'm aware. The problem is it doesn't matter how good they are if they bring in new creative directors and the new creative directors go, your ideas are stupid, we're not doing that.
Right.
Because that's the problem with the creative director. The creative director gets to dictate kind of the direction they're going. And I can guarantee we see this new guy come in and he goes, that creature's not scary. You're going to need to make it more scary, more alien looking. And then it's just every creature is going to start looking like it's some freak of nature.
Right.
More scary, more unironically, wouldn't surprise me if we got something that looks like a fucking Dead Space xenomorph.
Temp, mute your fucking screen.
I did. I accidentally closed my Twitch. Okay. So
Calm down there, sir.
I'm looking at what Steve Papoutsis did.
I'm more excited for the Subnautica 1 mod.
And while Mizu is correct, he did do Callisto Protocol. He also was the senior producer behind Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, and Dead Space 3.
The problem is he went downhill with that as well.
He did. He did.
And then we see like his full degradation with Callisto Protocol. So I can only imagine we're just going further down at this point.
Well, that's kind of sad.
Maybe it's just me, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
You do that way too often, Temp. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. How many games does he have that are good compared to bad?
But that doesn't really matter in my personal opinion. Like Mizu said, he's been going downhill for a while. So it doesn't matter what his pedigree is. If his pedigree started to take a shit, then I got no faith.
Hey, he's got to go back up.
Right now he's going down.
I'm not sure this is the game for him to go back up on.
Well, and that's why I'm saying give him the benefit of the doubt. At least I'm willing to, because this could be that turning point. You know, he went up with Dead Space, he went down with Death Stranding, Dead Space 3, and kept going down. Okay, fine. You will either hit a point where you are stuck where you are, or you go up. Will Subnautica 2 be stuck at the bottom, or will it start going up? He's 2 for 2. Dead Space 1 and 2 versus 3 and Callisto. Exactly.
I will say
Dead Space 1 and 2 are both beloved for a good reason.
I will say that unless Mizu and Lumi decide that they're not going to buy 2 and that we're going to play it together, I am still planning on buying it so that the 3 of us can play it together at some point.
I mean, even if they don't, I'll buy it and I'll play it with you or something.
Well, I will. Oh,
no,
I
really
said
it on Twitter already. I'm still gonna buy it. However, I have basically lost my enthusiasm.
Yeah, like we're still gonna buy and play it together as the three of us.
It was a good reminder to never be excited for anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and I think this is what concerns me, because Subnautica 2 is built as a co-op game. Like it's Subnautica 1, but with co-op focus. And I'm not, because Subnautica 1 is not horror, I'm willing to kind of say I might be wrong here. But horror games that kind of lean more into the co-op side tend to kind of lose that.
Lose the what?
The horror aspect,
okay.
the scary aspect. Dead Space 3 and Resident Evil 5 are both great examples of this. Dead Space 3 lost a lot of what made Dead Space a horror game, because they went for more like the action adventure vibe, and that leaned into the co-op element.
I guess we'll have to wait and see
Resident Evil
then.
5 doubled down on the action adventure bit of Resident Evil 4 while adding the co-op element. In fact, it was a common joke when Resident Evil 5 came out that, you know, the next zombie apocalypse started in Africa, and all you're doing is doing nothing but shooting black people. That was a joke in the community for years.
And then they did it.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's
Pretty
just
funny
one of those
joke,
things
not
of
gonna lie. Yeah, no, yeah. I again, like I said,
just wait and see what they do.
Like I said, no matter what, I think me and Mizu and Lumi are still planning to get it. It's just, it's going to probably be a more critical review of the game. I mean, like, I still think it'll be cool, but it'll probably still be visually nice. I hope and pray to God that I don't need a 50 series card in order to run it, because then I'm definitely not going to get it.
Oh, no. If you're gonna need, I think your card will be fine. You have a 4070 Super. You will be fine.
I'm just saying, I hope they don't make like they do fake FPS.
I mean,
bullshit.
they're going to do fake frames.
I'm so tired of that.
It's gonna have frame generation. Every game has frame generation these days. That's a given.
I'm so tired of that. I don't know. I want to get off of this before I get pissed off because I was optimistic about this game for a minute, and then when I saw this, I was like, "Fuck."
Okay, well let's lean back into the horror vibe for real quick.
Okay.
As of July 1st, the devs behind Phasmophobia, Kinetic Games Development, or Kinetic Games, announced that Phasmophobia has sold 25 million copies across all platforms.
That's neat. Is that like
Yeah.
higher end for like game companies?
That's actually really good for indie.
Fair enough.
That is incredibly good for indie.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You have to understand, Akko, an indie game selling like 100K is like a massive success.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So the fact that Phasmophobia is like in the higher echelons of like even what AAA sells these days is pretty impressive.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's good. I'm glad that they sold that many. It's a good game. I like what they've done with the game.
Friend Slop is powerful. It is. This game is 100% streaming Friend Slop.
Friend slop.
But that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Repo is that. Lethal Company is that. Peak is that.
What is friend slop? This is because I know what slop is. It's basically like fast
It's a game
food.
that you would never play by yourself, and you would never play with random people, but you would play
Yeah.
with friends.
Exactly.
Okay, then isn't it just like a co-op game?
No, because you would never play it with random other people.
Oh.
Because you dislike the game on its face. You
I
would only
see.
ever play it with friends.
I see. Okay.
Because, like, like shooters, FPS games are co-op. I will sit
Helldivers
down
is a great
and play
example.
I will sit down and I will play a shooter by myself all day with completely random teammates. Doesn't bother me at all. I'll do the same thing with League of Legends, even though I know that's directly abusive to myself.
Yeah,
I would
it
never
is.
in my life sit down and get into a random queue of repo with 5 people I don't know.
Mhm.
Because you know that they're probably going to be shit stirrers.
No, it has
Exactly.
nothing to do with like shitstir. It's not a fun game. I don't know them.
And the same goes
Fair
for
enough.
Repo is
Phasmophobia.
funny because of like how me and my friends play it and how we interact with each other while we're playing it. It's not funny because of like the game itself.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Granted, I do think Repo of the friend slop games is the closest to not a friend slop game, given its
Yeah.
different mechanics.
I would agree with you on that, yeah.
But I would still say Repo fits friend slop.
Mhm.
Mizu never beating the masochism allegations.
So I
People are
guess
trying to make
moving-
fun of me for playing League. Chat, I played Eternal Return, and that's League of Legends, but somebody said let's make it a battle royale too.
So I guess on the note of horror, our last horror topic of the evening, Dead Take announces first voice actors Neil Newbon and Ben Starr.
Is it a what kind of game
I
is
don't
it?
care about voice actors.
Well, to be fair, this is the first time I think any of us are actually going to be hearing of this game, so that's kind of why it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Pocket Pair Publishing and developer Surgent Studios have announced the first cast members in Dead Take, their new psychological horror game. For anyone who doesn't know who Neil Newbon and Ben Starr are, Neil Newbon was Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, and Ben Starr was Clive in Final Fantasy 16, and Arthur in Warframe. And they are the two lead actors for this game.
Okay.
Mizu new model. This is not a new model. This is just like a PNG I have. I'm
It-
lazy right now.
It's a nice PNG. It's a pretty good one.
It's a good PNG.
I should like get the PNG of you as the Yippee because now you are a Yippee.
Is Pocket Pair from Power World? Yes, Pocket Pair
Yes.
is the devs.
So Pocket
They
Pair,
made Power World, Craftopia, and I think they might have a third thing already out under their belt, but I don't remember what it is.
Gosh.
Yes. And I think that third one is an AI game, but they use AI to
It's an
It's
AI
kinda
game,
like,
but it's not an AI game, essentially.
It's like a drawing game, but it's like really shitty drawing. It's kind of like what's that like shitty drawing game where you have to like guess what it is or something like that?
No, you're thinking of God, why do I blanking on it? Shit. It's the Jack.
It's a common part. Yeah, it's like the Gartic
It's
phone.
the Jackbox game. He's talking about a Jackbox game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, but they use AI, but it's like really
Gartic, yeah,
shitty.
Gartic phone.
I always
Stuff like that.
I always call it garlic phone. Am I weird?
No.
Yeah.
But either way, I thought people would be interested in this because Pocket Pair is publishing it, so could be interesting.
You're basically playing Gartic phone, except one of the people playing is the AI itself, off of like the shit you're drawing, and you have to figure out if it's one of your friends or if it was the AI that did it.
Understood? Yeah. And
And people heard about it and they thought it was a game made with AI, and they got really mad at Pocket Pair for it.
and it
and
spiraled
Bucky-
into them
Well,
blaming.
Bucky, the kind of dev manager or whatever he is over there, had to make like a public statement and be like, no, we didn't make the game with AI. The game uses AI as like a gimmick to like a whodunit sort of thing, but with the AI being the whodunit.
Motherfucker.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's time. We'll get into the the stop killing game stuff.
Yes. So
Thor's a
chat.
bitch.
Thor is a bitch.
When last we left off from the Pirate Software not debacle, but like from last we left off from Pirate Software.
God, you're getting shit on.
I did. It was really sad. When last we left, it looked as if the Stop Killing Games movement was definitely going to hit 1 million signs, and the reason
Since then it has.
Well, okay, so I let me go through here. So, give a rough timeline. A year ago, when this movement came around, Pirate Software shat all over it and basically killed a lot of the momentum for it because, oh my gosh, the guy that worked at Blizzard, everybody needs to trust the guy that worked at Blizzard. And so,
And doing a good thing, the guy that did the initiative tried to reach out to him,
yes,
but refused to like get in a public shit fit with him.
pretty much. And nothing.
Which was nice, but probably a misstep in my opinion.
Yes, I am of the opinion that the guy is a really nice guy, but he should have been more proactive. And he even admits, it's like, I wish I was a little bit more proactive in countering some of this information. And my assumption is he probably was just thinking that the truth would prevail and that voices would be heard and that the righteous thing would come out. And it's just like, no, that's not what happens.
Thor was bigger than you.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, that's reality. He was bigger. He was popular at the time. He's still technically popular, but
Yes, that's the problem. When somebody is bigger than you, it doesn't matter if you're right. If they're bigger than you, people are just going to listen to them more than they listen to you. And that's the unfortunate thing. That's why you got to grow.
Especially when he supposedly has a rep as like a reputable game dev.
Exactly.
Because it'd be different if it was just some random popular person, which it would still damage your movement. Right. But it's also when the popular person supposedly has experience in your field, you're really getting fucked.
Yes,
Yep.
pretty much. And so because Pirate Software alleged that he had a lot of this pedigree, and really his only pedigree is being a QA tester at Blizzard, a lot of people seemed to take him very seriously. And when it came to brass tacks, he was actually quite wrong about it. And the movement kind of petered off for a while, to the point where a month ago, the guy's just like, I'm kind of upset that this happened because I wish I had the ability to go back and change things. Go ahead.
To clarify, the reason he started talking like last month is not because like the movement petered off or anything. It's because it's basically coming to the max amount of time to get signatures. He's coming to the end of life for it. And he's like, look, it's already over. We've only got like a couple months left. I might as well just like get involved in the drama, I guess.
Yes. He basically was like, let's embrace the drama slop now.
Which
or isn't even really a developer. No, he is a developer. He just sucks at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like yandere
Like, he
dev.
has a game.
He's like yandere dev levels of bad, in my personal opinion. Mizu, wasn't it you that told me that you listened to somebody say that they looked into the code for his game and it's just like really bad?
Yeah.
Super Iron
Fuck.
Boxing 5
Yeah, there was a dev that was looking into like the code of his game, and it was like Yandere dev tier of instead of actually planning out like the coding correctly, it was just like else if, which is something that Yandere dev is like super known for.
Yeah. I don't know why these. I don't know why these two swordsmen are like a big deal. I'm upset. I'm really upset right now.
You were. I'm trying not to laugh at you.
You can laugh. It's funny, is what it is. I don't know why they are such a big deal. Fuck's sake, get away from me.
Last week we talked about how Pirate Software was getting into some shit fits with like Asmongold and Moist Critical and Ross from Accursed Farms over Stop Killing Games. Because his whole stance was, this is going to hurt the industry more than you think it will.
Yeah.
So the whole reason he started that was like, okay, stop signing it. You shouldn't be supporting this. Don't do it. Move on. He did that in such a way that it actually pissed people. It had the Hogwarts Legacy effect. He went about it in such a wrong way that it actually propelled people to signing it more, to the point it actually hit its goal.
And very quickly,
the problem was it came out that Thor was just an absolute asshole about it, both behind the scenes, in private, and publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, okay, like, we could see that if you didn't like it, but now you're just actively being an asshole about it.
Yes.
And like, there's no reason you should be. Like, why are you?
Exactly.
I'm not having a good time.
So,
no, I'm not, chat. It's okay though.
Since then, it actually has passed over 1,200 signatures. This image is from the 3rd. It is now the 6th. So it actually has passed over this marker. But since it passed over the marker, Thor and Ludwig are both claiming that people are review bombing games from off-brand games. What are any of their games? It's like what? Realm of Ether?
Yeah, it's like yeah, something like that.
Oh, I could do this one.
Thank you for the 5 chat. By the way, chat, since we are talking over a lot of these supers, I'll just read them all later.
Rivals of Ether 2.
Which, to clarify, he is not making.
He's helping
a publishing arm.
Yes. Basically, Thor was brought onto the company as a director of strategy, if I'm trying to say that correctly.
Yes.
And because he was brought onto the company as like the director of strategy, people started to look at anything that he touched and he alleges, don't know if this is true, but he alleges that people started review bombing all of the shit that went into it.
So, yeah, Pirate Software and Ludwig both basically said people are review bombing the game, and we're basically backing out because we don't want our presence damaging these games.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is Ludwig also quitting?
No, Ludwig did not quit.
I was going to say, Ludwig is like the guy who started it, so I would have been surprised if he decided to quit. Because I knew that Thor was like, I'm out.
There is a theory from some people that he was pushed out. And it was more of a, you were allowed to resign sort of situation.
I see.
That's a theory, just so we're clear.
A game theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The theory is you are allowed to resign, not necessarily the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people have since come out and basically said, no, it's not being review bombed. In fact, on Steam, their game, Rivals of Ether 2, is mostly positive.
Now,
I can't even see a single review that is a review bomb.
To clarify, his game, Heartbound, did get review bombed, but it got review bombed after he claimed there were review bombs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right now it is overwhelmingly negative for Heartbound.
On the recent reviews.
Yes.
Yes. No.
So,
I do have to ask. I do have to ask, excuse me. When you say there are no negative reviews, Did you read any of the positive recent reviews? Because I know that one thing that I've seen people do is positive reviews can also be review bombs, because you can leave a positive review and then tell somebody this game is a piece of shit.
So let's see here. Browse all 7,801 reviews. Most recent. Yeah, fun and good. I don't play it much. I always have a good time when I play it. In fact, the furthest back bad review basically said balance just doesn't exist anymore. It's sad to see because CC everything and alt be okay. Nobody wants to play like that. There, as far as I can tell, there isn't a single bad review talking about Pirate Software at all.
Okay.
It's just something he said
about the balance of the game. Oh wait, no. Here is a bad review about Pirate Software. And it said, I wasn't going to leave a review, but Ludwig and Pirate Software cried review bombing, so I'm leaving an honest review to combat the non-existent bombing. I've tried to play this game like 4 different times, and every single time I could not play online at all. No error code, no check your connection message, just could not connect a server or something like that. My internet works just fine, and I've asked online, submitted several reports, asked for a refund, but got nothing back every time. It makes so much sense. It felt like an absolute scam buying this, considering a dev worked on it, actually actively hated on Stop Killing Games. Seems like a kind of interesting fighting game, but I've been pretty much given up trying to connect online, and I'm tired of fighting bots. Maybe now that the fragile ego, narcissistic, and transient little cockroach called Thor is gone, I'll be able to play this game. But I mean, the name Scamwig speaks for itself, so I'm not getting my hopes up.
I forgot that is a name that people call Ludwig.
But that's the only bad review.
What did he do?
I don't remember. I just know that people call him Scamwig.
But yeah, that's the only review I'm seeing
what
that
I've
even
seen of him, I
mentions
don't like
Thor.
him. Seems kind of like a smarmy dickhead to me. But
He is.
I don't think I don't have to like him as a person.
Yeah. No, so the most that I know about him is that he occasionally did news coverage, and it was very bland streamer boy news coverage. But I thought it was decent. And when I say decent, I basically mean that it was like bottom of the barrel. But then he stopped doing it because his best buddy that he sucks off, Hassan, was in the news too much. And he decided, and people speculate that he really didn't want to cover the news much, because if Hassan was the only thing in the news, that would have been bad for him. So he stopped covering it.
I remember that.
It was very funny.
He was trying to claim like he wasn't interested in it anymore.
And we all know. We all know Hassan was in the news too much. That's kind of what happens when your buddy's in the news. You got to choose whether or not you want to talk about it. Considering the mango situation. Oh my god. Did you guys... Okay, I'm assuming, Mizu, you saw the mango situation.
Yeah, I know it.
You didn't know the mango situation? Okay, I'll give you a brief
I keep
TLDR.
seeing people talk about mango, but I don't know any of these people. When it comes to these people, I'm kind of like Lumi, where I'm like, I don't know any of these fucking people, and they make way too much money for me to care.
Fair enough. I'll give you a brief TLDR so that you just understand. This is just another reason why I don't like Ludwig now. So, Mango is a Smash player, a pretty decent one, that has an alcohol problem. And he was invited to go to one of Ludwig's events where there would be open alcohol and Mario Kart racing. And so what ended up happening, and I do believe that Ludwig knew that his buddy had a problem, wholeheartedly. He let his buddy come to the event, and he encouraged his buddy to drink. And he got his buddy to a 0.32 during the night. Now, I imagine you both know that a 0.32 is like getting close to the lethal levels of what's acceptable alcohol in your body. So Ludwig got him to a 0.32, encouraged him to go higher, and then Mango decided in his inebriated state to sexually harass women on stream. And so after that, Ludwig is like, oh, I'm banning him from all my events. And it's just like, you know, I agree that Mango should be held responsible, but he was encouraged to get to the point where he decided to act like that. And I think that if he wasn't brought to a party with alcohol, he probably would not have made those improper choices, basically. And a lot of people are saying that Ludwig needs to take some accountability for that. Because it was on stream, too, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another reason why people hate Ludwig. What's really funny is Ludwig is like, guys, come on, Mango took responsibility, and it's just like, no, you should definitely take some responsibility. And the fact that Twitch didn't ban you for having live alcohol on stream when other people get banned for less is astounding to me.
Yeah.
So that's the TLDR for him. Let's go back to Pirate Software though.
So Thor made a post saying, I'm no longer working at Off-Brand Games. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing, false, and trying to mass review bomb them. You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged. Learned a lot there, accomplished a lot, hope they succeed regardless. Love those dudes and loved working with them. Hope they keep cooking. And for those who are trying to say this is somehow a lie, the abuse was across socials, people on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, and some reviews on Steam. One review on Steam because you said this.
Okay.
You incompetent douche.
I don't want to split hairs because God knows that I do that all the time, but I don't think that's review bombing.
No, it's not.
I could be wrong, but I feel like review bombing.
He calls it review bombing, and then he says everything but reviews.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say I feel like review bombing requires it to actually be a review in the review section. Like when I think of review bombing, I think of
It has to be a review somewhere. It needs to be on Steam, IMDb, GOG.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Epic Game Store if they finally added that or not.
Yeah. So I don't think it was actual review bombing.
Review bomb.
No, it's not a review bomb in my personal opinion. I feel like that was him trying to obfuscate the truth. Because like what happened was... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, Victor's right. Crime Boss was a review bombing. Monster Hunter Wilds, that's a review bombing.
Yes.
I will also say I don't necessarily disagree with review bombing in principle.
What do you mean?
I disagree with it if you are like a group of people going to like a small indie game and you're like, we're gonna tank this one's reviews just because it's funny.
Yeah.
But like, because like with Crime Boss, right? If you were actually upset at something the company that made the game did, I mean, that's still a part of like what upsets you. If you don't want to play the game anymore because the company did something, it is completely valid for you to leave that as a review.
Yeah.
Because other people probably don't want to play it either if they believe the company's doing something wrong or they wouldn't agree with.
Right. And that was one of those things where I think I got it wrong a little bit because when it was going on, I was like, wait, guys, isn't this wrong to review bomb? And I kind of like misunderstood the intention of it. But yeah, I feel like...
Go
ahead.
Another great example of review bombing is Helldivers. When the Sony situation happened, where they banned people from playing it in other countries, that was review bombing. But what he's talking about here isn't review bombing. People are negative reviewing Heartbound because he refuses to update the game and he's just stuck in development hell because he won't stop being a keyboard warrior.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if either of you guys remember. I remember this the last time I colored this motherfucker. This motherfucker said that he was going to update Heartbound once a month on the month to show that he actually was working on the game. He did that for 2 months. 2 months. And it has not been updated ever since then. So this man's going back to not working on his game.
Said that?
Yes, because Steam has now implemented a feature where if you do not touch a game in early access, they're going to tell you this game has not been touched for X amount of time. We think you should spend your money elsewhere, basically.
Yep.
So just to clarify, he did not say that because he was being a good little boy. He was saying that because Steam was basically saying you need to start doing shit.
Yeah.
Steam was about to give him the spanking.
Pretty much. And so I think what's going to happen is he's going to not update the game until Steam is like, hey guys, by the way, this game hasn't had any reasonable updates in X amount of time. I bet you they start doing that at 6 months. Excuse me, maybe. But like I'm very interested to see if he actually like updates the game because he hasn't been, and it's been kind of funny.
Oh yeah. So
It'd
he
be funny
actually,
if instead of a time for updates, it would mark the game as abandoned. One of the websites I would get games from, if a dev didn't work on their game after a certain number of time, the thread the game was in would get a tag on it that just said abandoned in big bold letters.
Yeah.
I want to see Steam do that.
I feel like if they did that, he would probably lose his mind. But I agree. We should have something like that in place.
so he, in the same post talking about how the game or how off-brand games were being review bombed, he basically said indie games are fragile things and attacks like that hit hard. Overall sentiment was to bash the games and developers working on them to try and get back at me. Not worth bringing them down for my opinion. Also stop it. Get some help. Indie games are not as fragile as you think they are.
It really
because,
depends.
like,
His
people got
definitely
mad about
is.
Terraria when they added like, they made some like DEI specific changes, and people complained about that, rightfully so. I think Stardew did the same thing, and people got mad, rightfully so.
What did Stardew do?
There's the gender thing.
Oh,
Instead of,
because
like,
they chose
male and
not
female,
to because they chose not to change it or some shit.
Yeah, and Terraria did it, and I'm not gonna say RuneScape because RuneScape is not indie.
RuneScape's getting more based, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, RuneScape is getting more based now. But Terraria and I can't say for certain on Stardew. I can't say for sure on Terraria. Did push more DEI specific like character creation. But it's a pixelated game.
Specifically got review bombed for not doing it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of
Yes,
the reviews
that
were
might be
some
what I'm
shit
thinking.
like, you know how many LGBT people play your game and you're gonna refuse to do the right thing.
Yeah.
The right
That might be what I'm
thing
thinking of.
to allow you to be non-binary. I didn't know that was the. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know that was the right thing to do. That's kind of crazy.
So Ludwig responded to Thor.
Yes,
Have you seen Ludwig's response?
I did see his response. Yes.
So he said, "Stop killing games is a good initiative, but a few bad actors review bomb / harass developers of the games we supported off-brand games. No, they didn't. Appreciate Thor stepping down for the betterment of the devs and their games."
You know, I'm starting to believe what Mizu said about Thor getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
I knew him on Second Life and he was a piece of shit. He was also pathologically lying all the time. That's crazy. You're the second person. You're the second person, chat, to say that you knew Pirate. So I have a guy that like came into my DMs, Mizu, last week, and showed me some stuff about Pirate Software. I think I told you about it. Like, I guess Pirate Software worked on a furry website and never delivered the final stuff to him. And so he just like never finished part of this website for this guy. It was kind of funny. And this was also like a furry website that Medicare made fun of.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm not one to rag on people for not finishing stuff for obvious reasons. However, I also don't get into contracts with people because of that reason.
Now, I could be wrong on the details. I would have to ask the guy, but like, he was just here. Let me, he did tell me I could read his DMs on this. I got permission from him. Let me scroll down and grab them. Tam, you keep talking while I do this.
So, Mischief's YT on Twitter made a post talking about specifically Rivals of Aether and posted the graph of their reviews, which we just looked at not long ago. 89 positive, 6 negative. That's not a review bombing. And I only saw one review in there that actively talked about Thor, and it wasn't a review bomb. He reviewed it because Thor wouldn't shut his mouth.
Well, wasn't that the one about the DRM?
No.
I will say the Heartbound one was definitely a review bomb, but you kind of
The Heartbound was 100% a review bomb.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Bad game, probably deserves some bad reviews.
But Rivals of Aether was not review bombed.
Okay.
But Ludwig responded to Pirate Nation, saying, "Such a bummer, Rivals 2 is getting any shit for this. Few devs support their games as much as the Rivals of Aether team. They still patched the original Rivals game 10 years after release. People are now review bombing the game because what? Pirate Software, who has no personal stake in the game, works at Off-Brand Games, feels wrong. So these people are actively saying these games are being review bombed when that is a full-on lie.
Well, because a lot of people still believe anything he says.
Yep, exactly. They don't go and look. So Mischief actively posted the charts for like Rivals of Ether 2, Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time demo, Aethermancer demo. None of them are being review bombed. Heartbound is, but Heartbound is not. Actually, is Heartbound?
Heartbound. It's not under them. No. Yeah, it's his own thing.
I'm double checking it because he could have added it just to be like, that's the review bomb it. But no, okay.
I accidentally just recycled a bunch of shit when I thought I was repairing it. That was very fun of me.
And he says, it was worth noting. It was worth nothing. However, that Pirate Software self-published game on Steam is being review bombed. Yeah. And then Pirate Software actually made a post about a graph from Stop Killing Games.
Did you see that the graph got community noted?
I did. I actually added the community note today from that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
The community note got added today because the guy that made the graph posted a second graph, and he's kind of basically like, I didn't think I had to clarify this, but since he's lying about the trend of the graph, now I have to show the full trend. So I need to show like more context.
So he actually posted about it on the 3rd, I think. Was it 3rd? Yeah, no, it was July 4th.
Oh, so he spent his 4th of July whining about this. Oh my gosh.
Correct. He said the most interesting narrative is that my videos somehow killed the initiative. This graph shows that the initiative already had a downward trend in interest when my videos dropped. My videos do not seem to have any impact on the movement at all, making me the villain did though. Best of luck with your next steps. And the community note said the creator of this graph has released an updated graph, including an earlier time frame, to provide more context and more clearly show the effect of Pirate Software. So, the fact that he's already gotten community noted over a graph which is now false,
yeah,
is rather interesting.
What does the updated graph say? Did you not pull it up?
No, I didn't.
It's there on the bottom.
Yeah, but he's not on the original
image though.
He's not on the original tweet.
Yeah.
Tab, you should have pulled it up.
Cringe.
Well, I'm sorry that I have Imgur banned on my DNS.
Well, while Temp is looking for that, I will read the messages from this person that claims to have been a friend of Pirate Software. He asked me not to say what furry website it is, but it is a not safe for work furry website. Thor was supposed to animate a few images for him, and he never did it. And so the guy had joked for multiple years, saying, "You quote unquote, you owe me, Jason." And again, this was a website that Medicare made fun of in his Hugbox Chronicles.
I got it. So this is the graph.
Oh, you got it. Perfect.
I got it. Accursed Farm publishes video. Europeans can save gaming. Currently 250,000 views.
Oh, he doesn't. You see, I knew there was something shady going on because, like, yeah, that's the thing is, like, you know, he does. Oh, for context, chat, he didn't just do 2 videos on this. I thought for the longest time that he just did 2 videos on it. No. He did live streams of it, and those live streams had clips that got multiple millions of views as well. So it's not just that he made 2 videos, because he made 2 videos. No, he made live streams that also killed the movement. And I feel like it's extremely gross of him to try and hide the fact that he did those 2 streams. Like, guys, come on, I just did 2 YouTube videos. Yeah, you did. But you also did live streams where you broke this down very falsely as well.
Also, to clarify, he's trying to pretend like the 2 YouTube videos are 2 of his shorts, which directly addressed a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you did more than that.
Yeah.
So,
he is being very sleazy.
This is incredibly sleazy. And then. Oh, It gets better.
Raped. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me turn
bring
this up.
The audio for this.
Go ahead.
Say that a rescue is an animal horde. I've been called a pedophile, zoophile, rapist, corporate plant, degenerate, narcissist, nepo baby, and many other names. And
Pause
they
for a
attack all
moment.
the accomplishments over my.
He's definitely a nepo baby. All right.
He's definitely a nepo baby.
He's definitely a nepo baby. All right. There's a lot of gross shit that's being said about him. I don't think there's no evidence to support that he is a predator. There's no evidence to support that he does anything weird with his ferrets. You could make the argument that he is some sort of corporate plant because he did used to work for Blizzard, but there's no evidence for that. I would believe it though. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to believe he's a corporate plant because he has skin in the game himself.
This is true. Yep. He does have a lot of skin. For those that don't know, by the way, his skin in the game is his game Heartbound has an always online DRM that checks to see if that you are connected to the internet while you are playing the game all the time. A single player, non-multiplayer game with no multiplayer functions has a DRM that always checks to see if you are online.
He claims that's a lie, by the way.
Well,
just to give both sides of the argument.
That is bullshit, in my personal opinion.
I just have to be the one here to be like, yeah, no, this is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with what he said.
And yes, so chat's correct. His father was a higher up at Blizzard.
His father was one of the first 10 people at Blizzard.
That's the only reason he got into Blizzard to begin with.
His father
What's funny is his claims that he is not a nepo baby is that none of his co-workers knew that his dad worked there.
He also...
And it's like, your co-workers don't need to know, just the boss does.
Yep.
Well, he also claims that his brother didn't get in, but he did. And it's just like, that really doesn't prove anything, because there is such a thing as favoritism in families.
Yep.
Maybe your dad likes you more because you're called Thor. I don't know.
He's gone on record being a bit of a shitlord. You know the not Family Guy, the South Park, like gamer dad, like the fat gamer meme?
Yeah.
Apparently he's claiming that's his father.
That is, well, I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm pretty sure it is too, but it doesn't.
But you can see how quickly he goes to like claim like stuff for his family.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very fast on it.
Anyway, you may continue the clip.
Life, despite physical evidence to prove to the contrary. And they also went after every job I ever held, trying to say that I never worked them, or if I did work them, that I never deserved them. So I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything you asked for, but nothing you wanted. And I'll...
He says I'll leave it at that. But he's basically saying, I hope that you got everything that you wanted, because you don't deserve it.
Oh, he is so salty.
He's basically saying that he hopes the initiative goes through and that it ruins all of the games that people love, because then it would upset them.
I mean, there is a very real
chance. That's what
chance.
he's trying to get at.
Yeah, is a very real chance that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the European Union. Oh, granted, any government fucks up shit. But I feel like he's just extremely salty that a bunch of people did stuff. Now, I do have to say, allegedly, he was also swatted. Allegedly.
Most people are pretty sure this is just a lie as well.
You think that he's lying about it? I think he is too. Okay. Why do you think?
From what I've seen, people seem to believe that somebody probably did call his local police department, but they just made up some bullshit about him having sex with the ferrets. Which apparently is a really big allegation.
Yeah.
On the ferret thing. I don't know why. But that doesn't necessarily mean you got swatted. Swatted is specifically when you call for like a SWAT team and be like, this guy, he's got like a woman there, he's got a gun pointed to her head, he's gonna kill her if you don't get there like immediately.
Yeah.
Like you say stuff to try and incite like an actual SWAT response that gets the SWAT team to show up.
The goal is to get
While
the...
I completely disagree with somebody calling the police on you, that's not swatting.
Yes. The goal of a SWAT is to get the most armored response you can possibly get for it.
Super Iron Bob discovered Mom has milkers and gave $5. Never forget his one known role in tech was social manipulation as a red team member.
Thank you, chat.
You could maybe say somebody tried to swat me. I might let you get away with that.
Uh-huh. But here's the thing, chat. My personal belief is, unless he shows the police report, because if he's doxxed already, then just show it. Redact redact your address if you really want to, but show that it happened. In my personal opinion, because otherwise, I just don't believe you. I just really don't believe him whatsoever.
Don't try and use it for sympathy if you're not going to prove it.
Exactly. Sorry if that makes me sound like an asshole, but I just don't believe him. I just don't.
Well, after all of his lies, you shouldn't believe him. When you lie, you know, one time, you okay, fine, you can question it, but you might be able to forgive him. But the fact that he's done it so much recently, no. Don't believe anything he says.
No, yeah, I agree.
Thor is only attracted to adult ferrets.
Oh, God.
That is, does he have a boyfriend or is
No, he is a wife.
He's a wife? Because I thought somebody told me he's gay.
He's bisexual.
He's bisexual? Yeah. Okay.
He has a wife, but...
When it comes to guys, most people just say you're gay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Which, by the way...
The bi erasure is real, chat.
Don't care if he is gay. Just like, so many people told me he was gay. I was just like, isn't his partner...
Paco was just confused.
I was just confused. See, that's the problem. That's why you don't just say that. Just say he's fucking gay or he's bisexual.
Yep.
To be fair, most people say gay because it can also be used as an insult.
Billy Mitchell is apparently suing Pirate Software.
I don't know for what reason, but Billy Mitchell decided to come out and say Pirate Software will be sued. Now, I know Mizu definitely has his personal feelings about Billy Mitchell, and I do too. I feel like if Billy Mitchell decides that he's going to come out and do this, I think that's kind of gay in my personal opinion. I just don't really understand that.
I want to know his reasoning for it.
Mm-hmm.
But just saying Pirate Software will be sued, I don't know.
I want to know what.
It's a match made in heaven, so I don't feel bad for him in this case.
Yeah.
Well, because the thing is, he tried to false DMCA another small indie dev, so you know what? You're getting what you're giving.
No, he definitely, yeah, I agree.
This is one of those things where it's like where I hope both of you lose.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you show up to court and the judge says you both suck ass. You both have to pay the court for wasting our time.
You know what? I kind of want that to be the case too. It's like if the courts say, Mr. Mitchell, what are we doing back here? What are you doing back in my courtroom? What are we doing?
For like the 20th time.
For like the 20th time this year. What are we doing? Although that makes...
On the bright side, at least he'd be saving money because he wouldn't be traveling to Australia.
This is fair. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I
that was honestly Carl Jobst's biggest problem is that he was in Australia. I genuinely believe if he was in America, he might have gotten away with it.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's fair.
So since Stop Killing Games passed the 12 mil or the 1.2 million
1.2 million, yeah.
1.2 million marker. The Video Games Europe responded saying, "We appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with local consumer protection laws." Legendary Drops made note that this group is a lobbyist made of Embracer Group, EA, and Activision.
So to clarify, this is a lobbyist group, and this specific statement was signed by EA, Epic Games, Level Infinite, Nintendo, Netflix, Riot Games, Niantic, Supercell, Sega, Roblox, WB.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, not on the list, Squeenix.
No, Square Enix was on the list.
Not in the list I have.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe what I saw was wrong then.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, they might be on the list, and they might just have been added later. The list I have just doesn't have them.
They might, to be fair, the list that I saw may very well be an old one, kind of like the old Sweet Baby Inc., because they also abandoned Sweet Baby Inc. removed, I think, Square and Valve and some other companies from their list as well. So maybe an old list I saw.
It's possible.
There's also a couple in here I don't know who they are. Some of them I'm kind of surprised are on here. Like they have ZeniMax on here.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because that's just
ZeniMax
Microsoft and Bethesda. Well, ZeniMax is Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh,
and
fair.
Fallout, not New Vegas. So,
Bamco's obviously on here.
Mm. So yeah, shocker is that the big game companies don't want this to go through, and they want you to know the consequences of it.
Yeah. I'm
Shocker.
gonna be honest with you. I'm glad that they're kind of terrified just a little bit. I'm glad that they're like, guys, listen, we really don't want this to go through. I do.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up like a clip of the that famous clip of the guy checking the beast and it's like, it's scared, and everybody's like cheering.
So thank you, Dogs Wayne, in my Discord. Speaking of chat, you guys should join the Discord. So Activision, Angi, so Association for the Nordic Game Industry, Bandai Namco, EA, Embracer, Epic, Microsoft, Level Infinite, Netflix, Niantic, Riot, Nintendo, Roblox, Sega, Sony, Square, the company behind I forget what that game is, one of the big mobile games. Clash of Clans, I think, is what that studio is.
Supercell.
Yeah.
It's said Supercell,
okay.
even though it looks like Sup Eric Sila.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure how to say that one.
Yeah, it's supposed to be said Supercell. I don't know why they came up with that.
Fair. It's a bad, yeah. Take-Two, Ubisoft, ZeniMax, WB. On the note of Ubisoft, who wants to get mad?
Go right ahead. Are we done with Pirate Software though?
No, well, Pirate Software for the most part, for the moment, yes.
Okay.
This is technically about Pirate Software.
Yes, it leads into
It's about the Stop Killing Games initiative.
Yeah. Ubisoft updated their EULA. The EULA is effective from the earlier of the date you purchase, download, or use the product. Until termination, according to its terms, you and Ubisoft or its licensors may terminate this EULA at any time. For any reason, termination by Ubisoft will be effective upon A, notice to you, or B, termination of your Ubisoft account, if any, or C, at the time of Ubisoft's decision to discontinue offering and or supporting the product. This EULA will terminate automatically if you fail to comply with any of the terms and conditions of this EULA. Upon termination of any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product and destroy all copies of the product in your possession.
So I heard some people say that this is not new and that this has been around for a while.
I have heard that too, yes. Which that is the case, I wouldn't be surprised because now people are looking into EULAs of like other game companies like Nintendo and Gearbox and 2K, and
some people are only just now reading this stuff because of all the controversies, and they're starting to go like, I actually am curious what is in the end user license agreement I signed.
Yeah.
And they start reading through it and they're like, holy shit, what?
It's like that episode of fucking South Park. Yeah, when they're like, wait a second.
Where they signed the EULA for Apple and it says that we can turn you into a human centipede.
That was a
and like I understand that people are like, oh, this has always been in there. It's like, okay, that's not an argument for why it's good.
No.
That's just saying we didn't notice it till now.
No, yeah. I think that should be a further indictment about how bad it is. It's just like, well, hang on a moment. This has been in here for how long? Like, it doesn't make it any better. That just makes it even worse, in my personal opinion. It's just like, I can't believe I didn't notice till now how bad you were. It's like an abusive ex, kind of.
So
yeah, game studio controversies are making people read, and it's madness. Yeah, as people are starting to read, they're starting to realize just how bad everything has actually gotten.
Yeah.
Well, a great example of this is according to this EULA, because you cannot play Assassin's Creed 2 on Steam anymore because its online is gone. You have to, according to Ubisoft, completely remove the game from your account, period.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Hey, Ubisoft. It doesn't fit, but it makes sense. Bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, so I should also clarify this, because like I have been doing my legal stuff every week.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, chat. However, I do have a pretty good grasp on law. Almost every single time an end-user license agreement has been brought to court, the court has sided against it.
Yeah.
They are not typically considered like valid contracts. I don't know why all these companies insist on doing them, other than like a hope that one day the court will side with them. However, the courts basically have never considered them a valid contract because you have to give like a proper notice for all of it.
Yeah.
And none of that notice is actually present when you sign up for it. It's just a little tick mark.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much. Side note.
Meet the qualifications for signing or e-signing.
Yeah. Side note.
Then a lot of the stuff in it is just illegal. The only time I brought this up before, the only time an end-user license agreement has ever been upheld in court is when the thing included in it was just a legal right the company already had under federal law.
Which one was that?
No, that's just the only times I've ever seen it upheld in court.
Oh, what specific case was it? Do you know?
I didn't have a specific one in mind.
Oh, fair enough.
The end-user license agreements have been brought to court a couple times, and the only time it's ever like been held up is when it's stuff like it said in the end-user license agreement that they could ban you if you broke a rule a specific way, and they did ban you. It's like, yeah, technically they already have that right either way. That wasn't a thing the EULA was necessary for. They could have already done that.
Right. That makes sense.
Copies in your possession. Are they admitting they don't want you to even own the physical media? No, they don't want you to.
You will own nothing. I hate using that saying.
Well, Ubisoft was one of the first ones that truly admitted you will own nothing and you will like it.
Yeah.
So this is not all that surprising.
Yeah, I think it's all cringe and stupid, and a lot of the thing that really annoys me is a lot of people keep saying, well, these games would know better, like that's why they're advocating for this. If these games had a choice, they would advocate that everyone has to pay a daily subscription of $2,000 if they could get away with it. Saying that the companies advocate for it, so it must be good for gaming, is absolutely ridiculous and stupid.
Yep.
Is a very retarded way of thinking.
Like that's like saying because a bank wants to steal your money, that's a good thing. Because the bank deals with money. Like, no, you need to understand they're here to make money. They will do it any way they can.
Yep.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're doing it in your best interest or in the best interest of even their own business. Hell, that's why go woke, go broke is a thing.
Yep.
Because companies actively go against their own interest because they think they know better.
And then they go broke. I'm going to be honest, though. I'm getting really tired of hearing the quartering say that almost every single video.
Oh, because most people use it wrong. Because most companies are not going to necessarily go broke. Although, so this is something I've been wondering about, and it's not necessarily related to this, but I want to ask you guys, because I've never been able to ask it before.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed that when games tend to go woke, they actually do go broke? Like, they don't sell shit?
Yes.
Like, we saw it very recently with, the Assassin's Creed and other things. Like, they literally make no money.
That's a good example, but yes.
When Disney releases an ass ton of slop, they do just fine. So I'm wondering, do you think Disney is lying about their sales?
Oh. See, I was about to just say
we've
that...
seen people lie about their sales before. We've seen gaming companies do it.
Right.
Do you think Disney's just always lied about their sales?
I don't know. That's a good question. See, I was about to just say there's enough normies that probably that enjoy Disney. Like, yeah, there's a lot of fomenting hatred with Disney right now. I feel like there's enough at least I would have thought that there's enough normies to supplant them losing a lot of money from all of the people that hate them now. But I could be completely wrong.
Yeah. Because I just thought about it. Because what game was it recently? It was the Firebreak or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Firewatch?
Where they tried to claim that they had literally millions of players, and then when you check the publicly available numbers, they like total sales didn't even break 10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the case for like a while with like Assassin's Creed and
yeah. So it's not, that's what I'm saying, it's not unheard of that these companies just straight lie about their sales numbers or come up with like some excuse to make it sound like they're bigger than they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like some of the companies like Disney have maybe been doing that for a hot minute and we've all just kind of been ignoring it because we're just like, oh, of course Disney made money. It's Disney.
If they
Disney's doing really bad.
Yes, they are. But like, here's what I'll say. If they are, they're going against their fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders that are being told, hey, this is how well we're doing. And that's fraud, I want to say. So hopefully they're not doing that because like they'd be very fucked 6 ways from Sunday if that were the case. Yep. But I don't know.
So, Sao in my chat, Sao Jun, said, Lamau EULA, tell that to the Brazilians, which brought to mind, did you two see that Brazil is suing Nintendo?
We did. Or at least I did. Did you see that, Mizu?
No. The country of Brazil?
Yes, the country of Brazil
is suing Nintendo.
It's not like a Brazilian, the country of Brazil.
Nintendo faces legal action over its ability to block or to brick Switch 2 consoles at will. Brazilian regulators deem the clause abusive under Brazilian law.
It is.
Also, another thing that's not new, but it's kind of crazy to find out about it.
But now they're like kind of publicly saying, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was a matter of time where it was going to happen. It was either going to be Brazil or it was going to be the EU.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't the EU, but you know.
EU's busy with their own shit right now.
This is true. They're busy with the Stop Killing Games now.
So the fact that right now we have Stop Killing Games, which on the surface is good, but there are some people that have brought the idea that government regulation can be bad. And to be fair, government is bad in general. But
I will say, in defense, minor defense of the EU, that I just threw up a little bit in my mouth saying that. I'm sorry. They are pretty good with consumer protection laws, in my personal opinion. I could be wrong.
My problem is they are because they don't believe business owners have any rights at all.
Fair enough.
And that's kind of where you end up in this weird kind of middle ground where it's like, yeah, their country is better for consumers, but if you want to run like any sort of business yourself, you are fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. Not wrong whatsoever.
And that's kind of the necessary way it's going to be. If you have a country with extreme consumer protections, you're probably going to have like a shit business culture. But at the same time, if you have a really good business culture, you probably have shit consumer protections.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the major issue you run into.
My concern with stuff like this and stuff like Stop Killing Games is when it hits places like America.
Okay.
Because when you start involving like the American government is when things get sleazy and disgusting.
What?
No, I've said before is I don't see the government handling this very well.
No.
But at the same time, I also don't see this getting handled without the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, yeah, I'm in major agreement just because like there's been nothing that has happened until potentially now. So I feel like the only way you're going to change things and force people to give a shit is by using the government. Yep. And that, again, I threw up a little bit inside saying that, but that is really the only way you're going to get this shit to work down and get people like Pirate Software to fuck off with all of the kind of stupid shit that goes on. So
yep, exactly.
It's a double-edged sword. And I think the thing is that a lot of people know that. I think even Ross from the Stop Killing Games movement himself knew that, like, oh, this is probably like a double-edged sword. But is it worth it for the potential for video games to get better? Yes, I think it is. I don't know. That's my thought process. I can understand why some people would be terrified, just because, again, it's government.
Yep, exactly.
It's a matter of, would you rather do nothing because of the fear that something could go wrong, or would you rather do something and then just hope it works out?
Well, I would rather do something, and because that's the thing. Americans are known for not waiting around and letting somebody else do it for us, which is why it's kind of funny that it's only happening in the EU.
Well, that's just because they got more signatures over there first.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like
in the EU, there's a rule
drop-in,
that if it gets a certain number of signatures, they have to look at it.
Yes.
like the drop-in loot boxes. That was because of the EU. The EU has actually been one of the only places that has actually defended the greedy practices against gamers.
Yeah.
Thank you, user, for the follow.
Thank you for the follow.
So we only have a couple more things about Pirate Software.
Okay.
They're both videos.
They're both videos. Okay.
They're both videos.
How long are they?
We can watch them, or we can avoid them. What
How
do
long
you
are
two
them?
want? One of them is 14 minutes.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. It's up to Mizu, though.
Oh, I mean, I might leave soon.
Okay. You gonna go do the you smash?
So you guys do whatever you have planned.
Fair enough. All right, Temp, we'll watch the video then.
Okay.
Or I'll be listening to the video, but yeah.
But yeah, I've kind of given my thoughts on most of this already, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Thor.
I agree.
Yes.
He's a bitch.
He's a very furry bitch, and I'm glad that he lost.
See, that's one thing that I like. You can never escape the allegations, and I agree, because I'm also in the tech field.
Uh-huh.
Tech people are commonly furries.
Are you self-reporting, Temp?
It's just, I hate being associated with furries, but I can't
He
stop
never-
not being.
He never
Because-
said no, chat. He never
You heard it
said-
here first, chat. Temp is a furry.
He never said no.
Watch the video at 2x with a pitch shift. Oh god. We will watch it at 1.5 though.
All right. Well, Mizu, if
1.25.
you want to drop out, you can now. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll dip.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Of
Hope my
course.
opinions didn't mess anybody up.
No, they're fine,
No.
Mizu. Your opinions are just fine, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
But
Yeah,
you guys
furry.
have fun with these videos.
You
Yep.
too, Mizu.
Have a good night playing the Warhammer.
I shall.
Peace. All right. Let's get started on... Actually, can I go through Super Chats real quick?
Of course, I'm gonna use the restroom while you do that.
All right. Chat, really quickly. I have some new clips here. All right. I have some new clips. All right. I should have used this one earlier, but when it comes to Pirate Software games, this is what I feel like.
Would you buy that? None of y'all wouldn't buy that. You're not fucking stupid.
You ain't fucking stupid. So, I love that. That was very good. Very nice. I like, I'm trying to include more and more JonTron and just funny clips and memes from my childhood that I feel like match well. So, whenever I can, I will be including shit like that. But anyway, let me go through some of these super chats. By the way, I do have some super chats that I need to catch up on from the last stream that I did not get a chance to read. So give me one moment so I can scroll to those. They were two of them. I had Mercenary for $2. There's two of them for $2 each. So Mercenary for $4. First is no, Elon won't. Trump wants those cat girls for us. Well, I think what he's talking about is Elon making his third party. And Elon has made his third party. Yay! Elon has made his third party to further divide the government. We're not going to get into that today. But Elon has made his third government now. And then another one for plus non-breedable for people like Chris Chan.
Thank you,
Gosh.
for the follow.
Oh gosh, dang, that's terrifying. Thank you for the follow. All right, let me start off with the super chats from today. Again, Nerdy, thank you for being a member for 11 months. Very much appreciated. Massive Doge for $1.99. What the dog doing? The dog has grown to boobies, it sounds like. So that's cool. Let's see.
Yes.
Mercenary for $2. Not interested in Cyberpunk. I want brand new Animal Season 2. That'd be nice. I don't think we'll get it, though.
Yeah. Brand new Animal Season 1 was so good.
It was. I don't know if we'll get it, but that was good.
We never will.
Yes. Mercenary again for $2. Black Panther ruined the character and the actor. I agree. Festiva for $10. The devs already didn't know why the game was good in the first place, in talking about Subnautica, I believe. This changes nothing. As far as I know, the new leadership is just to bust their balls over finishing the damn product already. That is very possible, yes. It is very possible that that is going to be what that is going to be. And, you know, I guess we'll just hope that the game is good. But I have less hope for the game now, and I'll still buy it and play it. I'm just not going to have much. I'm just not excited for it, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, yeah.
Mercenary for $2. I miss the indoor swimming pool above water Subnu. I remember that. Those are fun. Toa for $5. Not to mention how hard they whiffed the VR implementation of Subnautica. It was a perfect game for it, but ruined by the horrible controls in VR. Yes, I've not played that, but I've heard that it was bad.
I mean, you could play it.
I could. Whether or not I will is another question altogether. Mercenary again for $5. Yandere dev has more progress than Pirate Software in his game than Heartbound. That's crazy if true. Very crazy if true. By the way, chat, thank you for meeting the goal. The Pirate Software Yippee has been repelled. So now we are trying to replace the Pirate Software Yippee with the Asmin Yippee, so that one can laugh at the other ones. Mercenary for $2. Wait, was Ludwig once on side-scrollers? I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know.
You would have to look it up, chat. I don't know. And then Mercenary for $10. And I am skipping super chats that were successfully read out by the thing. Mercenary for $10. If these companies could press a button to steal all the money out of our pockets, but the end result would make us into chunky salsa, they'd hit that button 1,000 times just to be sure. And yeah, they probably would. They probably would. They probably would. They probably would. Anyway, that's all the super chats I have for now. So we can bring up this video. What is this video called?
Temp, you're turning into a mall, you piss princess. This is the first time I've gone to the bathroom this entire stream.
Oh my gosh.
A mall typically goes to the bathroom like 5 or 6 times a stream.
I didn't know that.
Also, High Rage, welcome.
Like the stream chat, by the way.
Like both streams.
Like the stream chat here.
I'm going to do another reminder, chat. If you like the content I produce, I would greatly appreciate if you like, subscribe, hit the bell for more notifications, join the Discord, all that fun stuff. Again, we are trying to hit 500 subs over on YouTube to get affiliate. And, because I promised chat, I'd be playing Resident Evil 7 once Final Fantasy 6 was over, if we hit 500 subs. So, if we hit 500 subs before 6 is over, we'll be playing Resident Evil 7. So, let's get to 500, chat.
Also, chat, don't forget, 10% off of Advanced GG, MommaOcco 10, and I do have my merch deal with Uwu Market. I'm curious, by the way, chat, if anybody in chat has purchased the Yippee merch. Just kind of curious. If you have, when you get it, please show me pictures of it. I mean, like, I don't want you to face dox yourself, but I kind of want to see pictures of people with their merch because I think that would be really cool. So buy it if you haven't had it. It is a little expensive. That's why I recommend personally going after the stickers or the keychains first. And if you really want a shirt, to go after the shirt as well. So
why you count Jamal bathroom trips? It was a guess. I wasn't counting.
What? I'm too broke?
People
That's totally fine,
Occo,
chat.
no, people started calling him all Jamal.
Oh. Anyway, that's all I got.
So yeah, this video is from Quinn Theo. Pirate Software quit and lied about it.
I think he's going to show some of the same clips we've already seen.
Possibly, but that's okay.
Pirate Software is quitting, and he kind of lied about why. But before we jump in, we do need to talk about something. The Stop Killing Games initiative has passed the 1 million signature goal. This is huge. Like, genuinely, thank you to everybody that reached out, that watched videos, like anybody's videos, that pushed this out to the people that needed to get these signatures. If you reached out to people or if you signed yourself, thank you. This initiative was stuck at 460,000 signatures just 10 days ago. And in just those 10 days, we were able to reach that goal of 1 million signatures. But do not take this pat on the back from me or anybody else lightly. We still need more signatures. As it stands, you know, there is a very good potential that people from the US that were using VPNs might have tried to sign this, that there were duplicate
Which you shouldn't do, by the way.
and that there are going to be some that are thrown out. So if we want to make sure that this stays above that 1 million goal, we need new people to keep signing. So again, I will leave a link in the description to this website so that you can sign the EU petition as well as the UK petition as well, which is at 136,000 signatures, but getting more isn't going to hurt. We still have this deadline ending very shortly here, I believe in 2 weeks. Yes, right here, deadline 14th of July. But let's get back to what's happening with Pirate Software. So just last night, Pirate put out this tweet here. I am no longer working at Off-Brand Games. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them. You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged. Learned a lot there, accomplished a lot, hope they succeed regardless. Love those dudes and love working with them. Hope they...
Of course.
I will be right back. I gotta go grab something. And since we don't do chair reacts here, give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Of course, chat. If you care, I am playing Binding of Isaac while we're doing React stuff. Akko, do you have a figurine? Would you like to have a figurine?
I return.
Welcome back.
Hello, Jazz in the chat, by the way. I sent you that video? Yes, a bunch of people sent me this video, actually. But I do remember you sending me this video. Mercenary. Let's continue.
Okay.
They keep cooking. And for those of you who don't know, Off-Brand Games is a game publisher, and they're known, I think, most well-known for Rivals of Either 2, which of course is a sequel to Rivals of Either, a very well-known fighting game similar to Smash Brothers in that style. Now, this publisher was founded by a couple of people, including Ludwig, who most people know. Now, to be more specific, so Off-Brand is originally a live production company, and it launched this Off-Brand Games unit. So pretty much, you know, like a branch of it. And this happened just a little over a year ago. This was back in June of 2024. And Pirate Software was hired on to play a big role in Off-Brand Games as the company's new director of strategy. Now, this is a blast from the past, but I actually have a privated video when I was doing gaming news and game reviews like videos before I did the drama content of me covering this exact news story. Here's a little clip from that. I think it's useful to show you guys to understand, you know, a bit of the change in perspective that I've had about Pirate over this last year. Ludwig, in my opinion, hired one of the best people for the job to make sure that something terrible doesn't arise from this publishing company. And that's because Pirate Software, the Pirate Software, has accepted the role and position of director of strategy for Off-Brand Games. So yeah, I'm very stoked, obviously, but all in all, regardless of if there's going to be hiccups along the way to start this, as
it's kind of funny how perceptions of people can change in a year based off of how much of a dick somebody acts. That is really funny.
Champ re-asked the question that was aimed at Akko now that he's here. Okay. Akko, do you have a figurine, and would you like to have a figurine?
I do not have a figurine. I would like to have a figurine one day. Who asked that question?
Tio.
Yes, I would love to have a figurine one day.
Okay, you good?
Yep, go ahead.
it is a new publishing company entering the sphere of gaming, but I don't think that you could have found a better person to get started and to direct for strategy in a publishing company than the Thor. It's a match made in heaven, and when I found out about it, I genuinely got very excited. Yeah, so you can tell my perspective has shifted a bit about Pirate Software, drastically even. As a matter of fact, he was one of the first people that I attempted to reach out to ask for advice about how to make a better YouTube channel. Legitimately, Pirate Software and Ludwig both had very huge impacts on me starting my career as like trying to be a YouTuber. And unfortunately,
I'm sorry for laughing, but yeah, they're bad people to ask.
But a specific thing that I had said that I didn't think that they could have found a better person to be in the role that they put Thor in. Well, now they have to find somebody. But let's get back to the intro of this video. Pirate Software lying about this quitting. What do I mean by that? Now, I want to specify because he actually addresses this in a follow-up reply. For those trying to say this is now somehow a lie, he talks about this. We're going to get into this part, but this here at the bottom is the thing I want to address first. He says, overall sentiment was to bash the games and the developers working on them to try to get back at me. Not worth bringing them down for my opinion. Also stop it, get some help. So this not worth bringing them down for my opinion, I think he genuinely means that. That is the part that I do not think he is lying about whatsoever. That's usually what ends up happening with these things. If one person that's a part of a company ends up getting a ton of flack, they'll step away because they don't want the entire thing to burn down, or the company itself doesn't want itself to burn down because they have this individual that's under so much hot water. But the thing that people are pointing out is this intro of his tweet here. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them. Now, when you think of mass review bombs, a lot of people will think about stuff like Overwatch 2 hitting Steam, for example, mostly negative, 346,000 reviews. There was a huge mass review bombing of Overwatch 2. And admittedly, I think good part of it was because they deserved it. But there were some folks that actually did some research to see what was going on with this mass review bombing. Also, really quick here, if you guys aren't subscribed and you're enjoying the content from the last couple of days, if you could consider giving this a subscribe, you guys are the reason
Could you put this video in the comments so people could click on it as well? Just put it in the comments so that we can make sure that we pass along the video. Fuck. Gosh damn it, I hate it when Steam does that, or not Steam. Discord does that. Yeah, put it in the description. So chat, if you're interested, that is the video. Click on it if you want to give the guy original view, because very obviously he deserves it for giving us this kind of information. Anyway, you can continue.
That I'm getting to do this full time. I am genuinely so grateful, even if you're not going to subscribe or like the video, that you're just watching. Like seriously, just a few short weeks ago, it felt like I was circling the drain, and I've recently started to try to redouble my efforts and work hard on getting content out for you guys. And it seems like I'm doing a better job than I have been. And again, it's thanks to you guys for keeping me motivated to get this stuff out for you guys. And I promise you that I'll be covering the drama, whatever it ends up being down the road. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Specifically, this gentleman here, Mischief, had done some research and started this Twitter thread. He said, none of off-brand games titles are getting review bombed. Ludwig and Pirate Software are both blatantly lying to seemingly further slander the Stop Killing Games movement. Incredibly weird and manipulative behavior from the both of them here. And he includes showcasing the most recent reviews of those games. And we can see that only a couple of reviews are negative. That is 6 negative reviews. And you can see the bar is about the same size right next to it, and then a few small ones here, and then a large one, which also, if you just look at the entire graph, it's not super out of the realm of normal. As a matter of fact, there's a ton of positive reviews that are showing up. And then they also showcase Ludwig's tweet from a couple of days ago here, talking about how he was getting mad that Rivals 2 is getting shit for this. And you did see when I was talking about off-brand games, there were a few other games that were under them, and he goes ahead and checks those as well, showcasing that the most negative reviews they had were back when it released, I think, back in November, leading into where it is now in July, which is just following the trend of the recent months. Now, this one is for Rivals of Either 2, and then following after that, this is the Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time demo. There aren't any negative reviews. And then we can also see here for the Aethermancer demo,
almost like they
nothing
lied.
showing up as well except for originally on back in February and March. And then you can see over here the more recent stuff. There has been one negative. That entire bar is encompassing a single negative review. And so that happened 3 times in those days. Now, I actually will say, looking at this, I might need to do some research myself because this is only going up to June 23rd, it's looking like, or something close to that. So let me double check these numbers. But a game that is receiving a lot of hate is Pirate Software's own game, Heartbound, which has been in development for 8 years at this point. So we can see here recently, also, I'm assuming, you know, tied to the negative drama that he's surrounded.
I know that games can be in development for over a decade. I believe that that is possible. But a single guy who has this literally as his job, because that's him making his video game. He's basically Grums at this point, is what he's doing. He's like I would almost say that him and Grums are like, go hand in hand. They both came from Blizzard. They both worked at Blizzard. Although I guess I feel like one did slightly more than the other.
One actually did a lot more at Blizzard than the other.
And both of them are making a video game, but it has been in production hell forever. Which the parallel is really funny. You've got the right-leaning Blizzard employee and you've got the left-leaning Blizzard employee. The parallel is just hilarious to me. I don't get it. It's really funny. But yeah, like his game has been in development hell forever, and I don't even feel like it's out of like this first. I don't even. Does anybody know like what chapter of Thor's game he's on? Because I know that like you can play the first and maybe the second chapter now. How many chapters are in his fucking game? Is he any closer to finishing it? like broski.
No.
I am just waiting for him to go after Grums, and then we could just like have the funniest tard fight for Blizzard employees. That would be the best thing ever. I kind of want it to happen just to see the Blizzard employees fight with each other. You know what I mean? Also, I'm lost. Very lost. He's on chapter 2.5. He's been developing this game for 8 years and he's only on chapter 2. Motherfucker's never finishing this game, and you should never expect that it's going to be done. Holy fucking shit. Gods above, I feel like Grums has done more. Sorry, go ahead.
Himself in the last like 4 months here. It's now starting to spike tremendously, and you can see 33 negative and these other ones falling behind at about maybe 20 each day. And I'll try to zoom in for you guys for this part, but you can see here this is leading into July 1st. It's looking like 7 negatives have come in today, and it looks like 6, 1, 1, 1, nothing crazy here. But then showing the Aethermancer, still 1, 1, 1. And then here the Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time demo, that is also no negatives are showing up. And actually that is the most recent, as you can see, June 16th. And so if we're looking at all these off-brand games reviews, we're not seeing this mass review bombing that's happening. There's none of it. Now it's possible, because I don't quite understand this, and maybe someone can correct me in the comments, but if they're going to be doing these massive negative reviews that aren't warranted or are not talking about the video game itself, from what I understand, Steam will remove those like illegitimate reviews, because this has happened in the past. So even then, those usually won't impact the game because they will be remedied. Again, save for like Overwatch 2, but again, those are talking about the video game, not some movement surrounding it, not some movement adjacent that is upset with someone working there. But I think this is what he was trying to clear the air about in this follow-up tweet after him saying that he was stepping away from off-brand. He says the abuse was across socials, people on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, and some reviews on Steam. Whoa, okay, hold on. Let me just scroll up a little bit here. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them. So that is a lie, because there's a difference, I would argue, I think a lot of people would argue, between mass review bombing and review bomb reviews on Steam, which you could argue also just match up with the general trend of negative reviews of these games. Now, I'm sure there were some illegitimate ones that were showing up, duh. Like, there's of course going to be a couple of people that are going to do that regardless, but these numbers do not even come close to legitimizing that argument that they were getting mass review bombed. And to be clear, just like Ross, I'm using the second definition of lie that he points out here. It's not to make an untrue statement with intent to deceive, but to create a false or misleading impression. And that's because I haven't combed through off-brand social medias. I haven't combed through Pirate Softwares to see anybody talking about off-brand games specifically. I'm sure that they are receiving heat in the other forms of media like he lists, where there was social media, people on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, things like that. Of course. But he is 100% creating a misrepresentation of what's going on by saying that they were trying to mass review bomb them. It is simply not the case. So I wanted to flesh that out, but I also just wanted to talk about his like philosophy with why he's upset about this. And to make that point, I just want to read these specific points again. He says, you can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged in relation to what his accusations were about the mass review bombing, people hating off-brand games because he's simply a part of it. And then on the second tweet, he says, overall sentiment was to bash the games and the developers working on them to try to get back at me. And I think this gentleman right here, Legendary Drops, he's a YouTuber that covers gaming news, game review stuff. He's incredible. Highly recommend you check him out. I really like how he put it. How many games flop because a dev pops off on social media risking their game in studio? Tell me you haven't stopped using a product or left a bad review because you disagreed with the views of one of their leaders. You're a public figure. You are every product you touch. You remember all of the flack that Helldivers 2 was getting because Sony was being a bitch because they were trying to force everyone to log into a PlayStation Network account, which also meant that they were essentially region locking a lot of their game from a lot of people who couldn't even create a PSN account. They got review bombed to shit, and Pirate Software was a big voice in that endeavor. And Arrowhead Studios, the developers of the game, weren't able to stop Sony from forcing people to do that. So Arrowhead Studios
was one of the biggest
was suffering because of Sony's decision.
If I remember correctly, he was one of the biggest proponents of saying, guys, go leave them a negative review and tell them what you think. One of the biggest. Also, yes, Jazz, I am just kind of like relic farming. If you want to jump in on that, I can leave at the 10-minute mark. So, although we have more stuff after this, but so yeah.
Yeah, we do.
After I leave this level, I can invite you. So hop on and we'll do that. Anyway, continue.
decisions to do this. Helldivers 2 was actually getting mass review bombed, and they weren't the ones making the decision. And I can't believe that I didn't bring this up earlier, but even if what Pirate Software was saying was true, that people were mass review bombing, were doing these things, or actually, you know, the stuff that he's talking about, reaching out to the social medias, the tweets, the Reddit threads, everything like that. Pirate Software is reducing the ways that people can communicate this negative feedback. Obviously, there's a lot of it. Obviously, you know, it is a ton. He's gotten the idea, I'm sure, but he will ban people from his Twitch chat. He has started deleting YouTube comments, which we covered in the video yesterday.
We didn't talk about that. Yeah, he's been deleting YouTube comments.
And, you know, at this point,
I have not seen that.
I forgot where it was posted, but people are showing screenshots of YouTube comments that are very critical of him, and people are claiming that those comments are being deleted. Which, fun fact, chat, I learned this kind of recently, but it's very easy to tell if a comment gets removed. Because if you are hidden from a channel, your comment just doesn't show up. I think it might show up for you, but it doesn't show up for anybody else. But like, if a comment is deleted, YouTube doesn't delete comments or whole comments. If you post a comment and YouTube thinks it's inappropriate, it just won't show the comment. But I feel like that's an instant thing because YouTube has a very intense algorithm on comments. I only know this because I've attempted it. If you say blocked words, it will instantly hide the comment. If you say things that are potentially inappropriate to YouTube and the YouTuber can choose the filtering for it, then it will potentially hold it as well. But that is instantaneous. And I think people are saying is that they're posting their comments and then walking back later and realizing that they're gone. So that's what I'm hearing.
Okay, fair.
We can pretty much assuredly guarantee that he will never speak with Ross, the guy who is leading this initiative for Stop Killing Games. He is blocking off every single avenue of communication to him, and now what's left is the publishing company that he is working at, or worked at. He's essentially funneling all of these people into the very few places that they feel that they can actually get their voices heard and communicate about their dislike for.
So he is also correct about this as well. And when Mizu had his drama, one of the biggest criticisms is when you filter people through different levels of moderation and you push them to the very dregs of the internet, you really only leave them in a couple of different places. And when you keep pushing people, because he's deleting people's comments off of his YouTube, he is stopping Steam reviews, or my guess is he is allegedly trying to stop, Steam reviews.
I mean, we know he is because he blocked someone last week.
Yeah.
We saw.
And it's getting to the point where when you remove people's ability to talk, they're going to go to more radical places or places where they care less about what you say. And I don't feel like that's a good idea because he's just going to get all these people that have dislikable opinions of him together, and they're going to have worse opinions because of that.
Yeah.
So, in my personal opinion,
you're giving them fuel.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, he's done a bad.
No, he has.
YouTube loves censoring me? Oh no. What did you do in order to get censored? I mean, you're friends with Rage, I assume, so maybe that's why. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Or pirate. And maybe that is a very surface level take, but I was just thinking about it. You know, the more he's going to reduce all these other avenues to actually communicate with them, they're going to start trying in other places. And it's good for off-brand games that they're, you know, it seems like most of this hate that they're talking about is showing up on the social medias and not the actual Steam page where people, you know, they'll take that in before they make a purchase. But yeah, if you say something stupid or you have horseshit opinions that nobody agrees with, yeah, they're going to give you crap, and anything that you're touching, they're also going to give it shit. Like, do you guys remember when they were teasing Diablo Immortal, when they did the announcement for that and the infamous... Yeah. You guys all have phones, right?
Did you ever see that?
The mobile phone thing?
In fact, he's even showing it here, so it's fantastic.
Yes, I did see this when it happened. I remember when this was brand new, and I was just like, these guys have no idea what they're fucking doing.
So that was back when I was actively paying for the BlizzCon tickets, because they were doing digital ones, like how DE does for TennoCon. I was actively watching it when they did this.
This was before COVID, right?
This is before I met you.
Yeah, but this was before COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
To make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? Yeah, the current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones. Now, that guy didn't have a huge social media following or anything like that, but they received a ton of hate after that, and he was representing Blizzard. So Blizzard received a ton of hate. You, as the director of strategy at a publishing company for video games, having a terrible opinion that misrepresents an initiative about helping consumers when it comes to games, yeah, your opinions are going to have an impact on the publishing company. I'm blown away that he has turned this into, how are you guys being so pathetic and childish? And it just feels like he's wildly missing the point, or intentionally missing the point, that those are connected. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because I'm so confused at his response and how he's trying to paint this, and the fact that he has gone out of his way to yet again misrepresent what is even happening for off-brand. It's just, it's his brand at this point to do that. But that's it for the video today, guys.
Very
if you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like, get this out
is.
there, and I'll see you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.
That's awesome.
No. And then we had one more video.
Okay.
Where is it?
By the way, chat, because you guys were all asking a bunch of questions about this Warframe, this is a spider Warframe. That is all I'm going to tell you. Spider frame. And Temp is scared of it.
No, I'm not.
He kind of is.
Darsky, we need to have a talk. Sorry, we're bringing this up on stream.
What? Oh my gosh.
Darsky.
That's pretty funny.
Anyway. Where is so Oh,
while you're looking, I'm going to take the ice cream back to the fridge.
Okay.
Yippies have had enough.
Does it do whatever a spider can? Yes. Ten out of 10 meme. Get me pictures of Spider Mom.
Oh, this is new. This is something that I'm seeing right now. Allegedly, in Baldur's Gate 3, there are storylines that have been cut.
So that's false.
Oh, is that false?
They have decided to use Baldur's Gate images because it is the actor for Karlach opening their mouth about it.
Ah, okay.
But it is not about Baldur's Gate.
Are Streamlabs messages disabled? No, but I don't know if they read out on screen. I believe it is only YouTube ones. I need to figure out how to do the Streamlab alerts ones.
Check this mercenary. I saw mercenary. Thank you. So the two videos that we still have left are one of them is tied to Stop Killing Games, but it is going over the actual problem with it, which is very government oriented. And the other one is a developer examines pirate software.
All right.
I will let you choose if you want to watch either of them.
Text to speech has been enabled for tips. I think it will work. Don't crucify me if it's wrong, chat, but I think it'll work. Sorry, will you go say that again?
The two videos we have left, one of them is about the problem with Stop Killing Games, which kind of goes over the government ramifications.
Okay.
The other one, developer examines pirate software, part 1.
Oh, let's go through that. How long is that one?
All right. So 22 minutes.
Let's do that one. Let's do that one. Let's do that one.
We will put this one at 1.25. And back here.
I'm sure many of you have heard of Jason Thor Hall, better known online as Pirate Software, due to all the surrounding drama related to Stop Killing Games. This video isn't about the Stop Killing Games drama. I do support the Stop Killing Games initiative, and anyone in the EU currently watching this should go and sign up to care about game preservation. This video is going to be a review of Jason's job history, game dev industry claims, coding ability, and his heartbound and champion of breakfast DRM solutions by me, a developer. I won't be touching on his hacking skills much in this video, since from what I found, all of his DEF CON wins were team efforts, and all of the stories related to hacking are just that, stories. Outside of his word, I generally can't find anything related to it. There isn't anything concrete or of substance in these stories for me to actually analyze and review. If anyone knows where he actually has hacking write-ups or knows...
This man is doing something very ballsy right now. Do you know what he's doing?
Enlighten me.
He is trying to push Pirate Software to prove that he actually has all of these accolades. And I find that to be extremely hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Because Pirate Software has made a lot of claims of his accolades and his abilities. And I'm not going to say that he does or doesn't have them, but he's not shown proof that they actually exist. So what this man is doing is pushing for something like that to exist. And obviously we'll see if something is said. But this is, I like this. Off the bat, I just like this already. I'm excited. So.
VTuber with a jester.
Thank you for the 10, chat.
Mommy MILF avatar.
Victorian orphan tipped octopus.
What's my opinion on fence sitting?
Hey Occo, what's your opinion on fence sitting? I was enjoying it, but then I sneezed and am no longer constipated.
Good question. What?
I'm gonna interject a little bit. Chat, we are 2 subs from 500.
Oh, congrats. Congrats. Go
At
sub to
500,
10.
again, we to play Resident Evil 7.
My opinion on fence sitting. I feel like that was a joke, but I will give you my opinion. My opinion is it kind of depends on the topic. Because not every topic is created equal. When it comes to politics, I hate the two-party system, so I guess I'm a fence sitter on the two-party system. Yeah, I guess it really depends. Yeah, also goes up to temp.
Yeah, let's get to 500 tonight. Let's push that milestone.
Thank you for the 10 again, by the way. And I will continue to read super chats here after this video chat.
Sub to the dog so you can experience the average post-Katrina Louisiana family. Damn. The dog is getting bigger in more ways than one.
Indeed.
Again, chat, thank you for the support. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
Knows the VODs where he actually does something related to hacking, let me know and I can do a separate video going through and reviewing it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's start with Jason's LinkedIn job history. So if we look at his LinkedIn, we can see his first recorded job experience is from 2002 to 2009, where he was a freelance security researcher and developer. In 2002, Jason would have been 15, and from what I found, he hasn't taken any program classes, so anything he knows at this point is largely self-taught. Another important thing is Jason actually had a job in 2004.
Which is not a bad thing, because what's funny is people are like, oh my god, it's so good that Pirate Software did this, when PewDiePie did the exact same thing and people are now mad at him for doing it. And it's like...
Yeah, I don't have an issue with him learning on his own.
Hell, a lot of what I have is self-learned.
I don't have an issue with him learning on his own. The problem is that his self-learning sucks, and he's not really good at what he does.
No, yeah.
So, I believe in it, just not him doing it.
Absolutely. Completely agreed.
That isn't listed here as a quality assurance intern at Blizzard.
I went to Blizzard in 2004, and like this is kind of my whole career, right? My first job I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 23 years. We worked at Blizzard for 23 years, so I got a job there in 2004. I was
Did he really just say he got there through nepotism?
Also, I think it's important that we talk about his dad.
Yes, he did.
Second. Jason says his dad just worked.
Yes, he did.
You're continue because I'm gonna go off. Oh.
worked at Blizzard, but that's grossly understating his dad's role and history at Blizzard. Jason's dad is Joey Ray Hall, and from a Reddit AMA his dad held, we can see the following. Joey Ray joined Silicon and Synapses in 1991. Now, you might be asking, what's Silicon and Synapses, and what does this have to do with Blizzard in his post? Well, in 1991, Blizzard didn't exist yet. Silicon and Synapses was the original company name, and 1991 was the year it was founded. Joey Ray joined Blizzard before it was Blizzard, and when he joined, there were less than 10 people in total at the company. He wasn't some random Blizzard employee. He was one of the earliest hires at the company. Over his 23 years, he did all sorts of work, and was the one that founded the cinematic team, led the machinima team, the video and post-production team, and the esports live broadcast team, plus being responsible for all the video content for every BlizzCon between 2005 to 2014. Plus, he led the team that made the famous South Park World of Warcraft episode, and the inspiration for the He Who Has No Life character. Joey Ray was the director of cinematics at Blizzard. He wasn't some low-level employee that worked at the company. He was pretty high up in the chain. Anyways, back to Jason.
The next 5 years, I left Blizzard. I did not reapply, and I went and worked on my own. I did freelance. I did freelance for everything. So I actually went into Second Life, which is a 3D Worlds game, if you've never played it before. They have a language in it called Linden Scripting Language, and I made games in there. I learned how to do 3D modeling. I learned how to do texture work. I learned how to do scripting. I learned how to engage with people that were playing my games. I learned how to do network model stuff. I learned how to do server-related stuff. I did this for 5 whole years.
So Jason's Second Life period of time is a huge rabbit hole, and there's like 5 or 6 different controversies surrounding his time in Second Life. This video isn't about his controversies and allegations, so I'm going to skip over most of it. The only small parts we care about are related to coding. During his Second Life playing time, he played a character known as Moldavia's Fig Tree and started a company called Dark Sphere Creations. He claims he did game program with the Linden Scripting Language, the programming language of Second Life, and made some small games and some user-generated content for Second Life. While digging into this, I didn't find any proof he coded any games.
Can you pause? I would like to say something.
Yeah, pause. You're good.
Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to say, goddamn, like Joe. First off, can we just acknowledge Joey Ray is such an amazing name?
It's a pretty American name.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like, his dad's great. I feel sorry for his dad because, damn, his prodigy is such a fucking failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, he even just admitted that he was a Nepo baby. I can't believe that, by the way.
To be fair, at least acknowledging, reality of your situation ain't too bad. Like, all right, you're at least self-aware enough to know you got this because your fucking daddy.
Yeah, but like the problem is that he later down the life will say he isn't a Nepo baby. He now.
Wait, he did?
Yes, that comment is really old. I don't know when that video came out, but nowadays he says that he's not a Nepo baby and he got in through his own merits.
Through his own merits.
We know how he got in.
He's a Nepo baby.
Fucking God.
Oh.
Also, hello everyone. Yes, I just decided to show up. I wanted to a bit. If they were going to talk about stop killing games and the government stuff, I was going to scream more, but I just came in to say that one simple little thing.
I mean, you're welcome to stay.
Nah, I gotta get back. I got the boys I'm hanging out with trying to farm for Spider Mommy and help out my clan. But also, one other thing I do want to say, he does give Self-Taught a bad name with how much of a fucking dumbass he is.
Yes.
You're right, Occo, because, people got so butthurt. And hey, everyone in chat, if PewDiePie could learn how to do it, so can you.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Yep.
See, like, even for me, I would have to obviously jump back into it. But when I decided to start doing more VR chat stuff, I self-taught myself how to do quite a lot of things so that I could just, like, make it work. Like, I know how to add very basic shit. I don't know how to turn it on and off. That's like it's like a skill I don't have yet. But like, I know a lot of shit in VR chat. And so like self-teaching yourself can be possible, but like Jason doesn't do a good job at it.
Exactly.
No, he doesn't.
And hey, that means, Occo, I can teach you Linux. You're getting into Linux. Fuck you. You're going to Linux.
I don't know what games would be okay with it, so the answer is probably no.
Well, no, Daco, you could dual boot. You can literally set up another SSD specifically to run Linux on it, and then use that, and you can still load back into Windows.
And also, it's called QEMU. It's a virtual box. You can play all your games on Linux. Ah!
Also, you do have your Steam Deck, which is Linux.
I know. What I'm saying is right now I'm fine with Windows as the operating system for now.
I mean, that's fair.
Occo, you heard it here first. Occo is submitted to the brain virus. Occo's here trying to promote the Windows cancer. She's in the conditioning. They're in the Matrix. Ah!
And he's gone.
VR chat is Unity? Yes, but Unity is very terrifying for somebody like me that doesn't know how to do anything. So, yeah, and... Anyway, continue.
What Darksphere Creations and his company was actually doing at the time was creating not safe for work adult furry avatars and selling them. Basically, his friend Wingless Emote, another Second Life player, would do the art and modeling for the furry avatars, and Jason would do some coding on top. What kind of coding he did on top of these avatars isn't exactly clear. Then they would sell the avatars, and eventually the business was making somewhere around $10,000 a month, primarily due to selling these avatars. There's some other controversy where it alludes to Jason trying to do dev work on Linden Labs projects and other game worlds, but I can't find any solid proof, just random posts and accusations. So in summary, there doesn't seem to be any proof he did any kind of game development or hacking during this period of time. Let's get back to Jason.
Then I came back to Blizzard in 2009 and I applied. Not having his help in any way, I got the job.
Okay, the timeline here starts matching up with his LinkedIn. After his little detour with Darksphere Creations and working for himself, Jason now has an actual full-time job at Blizzard in 2009. This is his first official full-time job at Blizzard, and he is once again a quality assurance analyst. Jason claims he got into the company on his own merits this time, but I find that a bit hard to believe at face value. In 2004, he said he was terrible at his QA role, and that's why he quit. I searched to see if he studied anything IT related in high school or in college or during the time gap, and I found this from his subreddit. Jason did spend some time in college studying to be an entomologist with a specialization in ants. He dropped out of college without ever finishing his studies, and it doesn't seem like he ever took any IT related courses during this time here. During that 5-year gap between 2004 and 2009, the only experience he said in the clip from earlier was his Second Life programming, and well, that wasn't exactly quality assurance or hacking or game development work. Plus, while applying in 2009, on his resume he would probably have had, or Blizzard itself would have had a record he worked there previously as a QA, so that would make applying a second time for a similar position easier. His dad, once again, was a pretty high person in the company, and some people might remember Jason being Joey Ray's son from before. It's not impossible he got in on his own merits, just a bit hard to believe considering he doesn't have experience with any real programming languages at this point, and he doesn't have any degrees or certificates. Okay, back to his LinkedIn and his job. So he held the role for 3 years and 2 months, and once again, this was his quality assurance role. One thing Jason often does is he claims all QA are developers. First, as someone that has worked QA myself, this isn't true. I'm not saying QA aren't important, but the majority of QA generally are non-technical, and only a small portion are. At most of the places I worked at, QA generally has no coding ability and are tasked with doing manual regression testing. Basically, they get a series of test cases they need to go through, and each test case has a written out set of instructions they just follow. If something doesn't match the case steps, then a bug is filed and actual developers are tasked with addressing it. So I personally wouldn't call his 3 years at this position game development experience. And if we look at the bullet points he has on his LinkedIn, besides one line, namely the design and create an automated system, there's nothing here that even remotely implies he was coding or doing any kind of development. I'm making this point since Jason often claims he was a game developer at Blizzard for 7 years, but his first 3.5 years didn't include any developer roles. Also, to address his if QA didn't do their jobs, games wouldn't be released argument, most games have music. If a musician doesn't complete the OST, a game can't be released. Does that mean they're now developers too? Just because you say something confidently in a deep voice doesn't make it true. Moving on to his next role, we have quality assurance hacks. Here he mentions he did some forensic.
Yeah, it is.
Analysis and detected threats. Also, something I'd like to note, all of his game projects listed here were coded using primarily the C++ programming language. This is a low-level programming language. This will be important a bit later in the video. As for the role, again, I wouldn't call this game development experience. This is more related to security work than game development itself. And from the bullet points, it doesn't seem like Jason was doing much coding. His next role for 6 months was test engineer. My opinions are pretty much the same as the previous role he held. Moving on, we have the next role as security engineer for 11 months. This one is interesting. Since the bullet points here notes he managed web application security. For those that don't know what web applications are, it means he was working on websites and not games. There's no mention of programming here or what tools and languages he used. But regardless, this is without a doubt a non-game development role and doesn't have any overlap with game development. Okay, next up, he moves to another security engineer role for 3 months. Again, same opinions as his last job. Now, his last role at Blizzard was a red team member. Red team is a common IT term that just means someone inside the company that attempts to hack into their systems, either digital or physical. So Red Hat's basically trying to make hacks and show how they got access. So these vulnerabilities and issues can be addressed before real hackers can abuse them. Now, while Red Hat is offensive security and hacking, it doesn't always mean you're programming like you see with those green terminals and pics. If we look at the bullet points Jason has listed, we can see he did exploiting physical access controls and social engineering operations. Social engineering is actually one of the most common ways hackers gain access to systems, and it doesn't have to involve any programming at all. Social engineering attacks are something like the following situation. Let's say Jason in this example is a social engineer and his target is a fellow Blizzard employee with access to the game servers. He could call them or email them from a legitimate Blizzard phone number or email and say he needs their account credentials. Normally, you would never share live in production account credentials, even if someone from your own company. But let's say Jason manages to convince the employee to hand the credentials over. Now Jason has a way to log into the system he shouldn't have access to. This is a social engineering attack. It's not technical hacking like most people think of. It's generally just being convincing enough and getting employees to hand over info or access they shouldn't be giving out. All right, with all of that, and with all those jobs, we have 6 years and 6 months at Blizzard full-time for Jason, and if we include his time as a QA intern in 2004, we basically have his 7 years of experience at Blizzard accounted for. Judging by everything he has written here, it seems as though he's never held an actual game developer position, and he's never done any game development directly. All of his roles at Blizzard were either QA, website security, or social engineering, basically his hacking. It doesn't seem like he's ever touched C++, which is the industry standard language to use when doing game development. But before I finish my thoughts on this, let's check out one more job after Blizzard. After Blizzard, Jason worked at Amazon Games for 8 months as an automation engineer. Again,
Gross.
he wasn't a game developer here. He also didn't include much information under his bullet points. He did documentation of vulnerabilities and did some automation work with Python. This is the first officially recorded line that actually shows he did some programming. Python is what we call a high-level language, meaning the language is designed to be easy for humans to read and understand as well as to write. Python is a wonderful language, and I'm not throwing any shade at it, but Python is not a language used to create games. Technically, yes, you can code games in Python. Big drawback is it's an incredibly slow language. This is why the industry standard language for game development is C++, a low-level language that allows for incredible performance. The trade-off is it's a significantly more difficult language to work with. The reason I went through his job history so far and his programming language list is because Jason often claims he's a 20-year veteran of the game dev industry, and he was a game developer at Blizzard for 7 years. And he uses these claims to make himself seem like an authority and expert on game development and game-related topics, namely stop killing games. But from the looks of it, and in my opinion, it doesn't seem to me he's ever worked as an actual game developer within the industry, and it doesn't seem like he's ever done much program work in the industry either. I'm not throwing shade at any of the jobs listed here,
So this man says he worked in Python, but Python is not like a programming software for video games. And instead, the programming software that most people would look at you and say, oh, you actually have a pedigree, is one that it sounds like he's never touched whatsoever in his life.
Correct.
By the way, I do think it's important to bring up, he is pretty good at, I do think that you could give him one thing. He's pretty good at social engineering, and social engineering is really just another form of saying he's good at making you do what he wants, which is manipulation. So he is pretty good at manipulating people. So I can't focus on anything being said. Well, that's why I'm here, chat, to help you understand just a little bit. Anyway, you can continue.
So far, I'm just trying to be absolutely clear that none of this, in my opinion, as someone that has worked on game engines and done game development, none of this counts as game development experience, with a lot of his roles having absolutely nothing to do with game development itself at all. To help make this clear, here's another example to help everyone understand. It's like someone working at a hospital and doing payroll work, but because they're at a hospital, they claim to be a qualified doctor. It doesn't make any sense. Jason is making a giant leap with his I'm a game developer for 7 years at Blizzard claims. Anyways, let's go back to his LinkedIn and see what's next. Here we have that he was a cybersecurity specialist at Eagle Research Group. Based on Jason's stories, this should be when and where he was technically working for the government. There isn't a whole lot of information here, and with most of the bullet points being extremely generic. Since he claims this was government-related work, I think it's perfectly reasonable to assume he has NDAs, or he might not be able to give any specifics related to his work here.
And then when I did that, I went to the United States Department of Energy, and I hacked power plants for the federal government.
Jason makes a lot of claims being a hacker, and has told a lot of stories, but I could never find anything to back up his hacking claims. So far, the only thing I found was he did do some social engineering attacks at Blizzard. Now, some of you might know about his DEF CON stories and his Mr. Robot claims. I'll probably cover those in a separate video. The reason is all of his DEF CON wins were done in teams of 10 people, never solo. And for his other hacking claims, there's only stories to go off of. To keep this video from being too long and off topic, I'll save his hacking claims for its own thing. Okay, his next set of experience is at his own company, also named Pirate Software. But before we touch on that, let's talk about his more recent job experience at Off-Brand Games first, since that's a smaller topic to cover. Off-Brand Games is a game publishing company founded by Ludwig and Jason. I'm not entirely sure if Jason is a co-founder or not. Jason claims he isn't, but most posts and Ludwig's posts talking about the company seem to imply he is. Whether or not he's a co-founder isn't too important. Jason's role at the company is director of strategy. From Jason's comments on the matter,
I feel like it is kind of important because he said that it would be more fraud for him to just say, oh, I'm not a co-founder, when it kind of sounds like, you know, he might be. Like, we don't have proof to say that he is, but like, you know, the 20-year industry veteran and Ludwig are starting a game company. That sounds like it would make sense to me.
No, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's all I wanted to include.
he basically helps indie game developers negotiate contracts. Again, no direct game development work here. Also, fun fact, the very first game Off-Brand Games was co-publishing was Rivals of Ether 2. A game by the developer's own words was built this time around as a more live service game. Really makes you think why you might not want Stop Killing Games to succeed. Also, don't throw any hate at Rivals of Ether 2. They actually do have an end-of-life plan to keep the game playable and alive for the community after it ends. The same goes for the rest of the off-brand published games. Don't throw them any hate. Okay, we're gonna take just one more detour
glad that he
before we get to
said
the Pirate
that.
Software Company. Let's check out Jason's GitHub and see if there's any code for us to review there. For those of you that don't know what GitHub is, it's basically the site where developers store their code bases and development teams can work together on a code base. In Jason's case, his code bases would be tied to his games. Okay, so here's Jason's GitHub account, and he has 0 public projects on his account and 0 activity for the year of 2025. Okay, Okay, the no public repos doesn't exactly prove anything, and you don't need to have public repos, but most active developers do have something at least. Also, let me point out, GitHub does have an option of having private repos, which are code bases not viewable by users not part of the team. But GitHub also has the option to show activity on private repos on your profile without leaking any private repo
So
data.
he doesn't
Again,
show
this
his
doesn't prove
work
anything, but it's
ever.
incredibly odd to see a self-proclaimed developer and hacker have zero public code on his GitHub and zero activity on his account. Let's try 2024, and there's nothing. Okay, 2023. Oh, I see some activity, and it's bug reports. He has made 4 bug reports and some feature requests, 0 coding to review for 2023. Okay, let's try 2022. All right, I see 2 green dots, and again, it's 2 bug reports, no code to check over. All right, 2021, I'm feeling lucky, and there's nothing. Okay, 2020, he's applying to be a part of the live coders list. All right, last year to check, 2019, and his only activity is he joined January 13, 2019. Man, that was disappointing. Over 7 years of having a GitHub account, he seems to have done 0 public coding, with a grand total of 6 bug reports. Again, this doesn't prove anything too much, but most professional developers and hackers generally have something on their accounts, even if it's just super minor stuff like their settings for their favorite text editor or application.
I mean, I imagine that he would want to show off if he had something.
It's just incredibly strange and unusual. Just about every tech YouTuber and streamer has.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. Chat, we did it. We hit 500.
Oh, did you hit 500?
We hit 500.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, chat. It's a fantastic milestone. Oh. Let's go. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna show you this, chat. I'm gonna send this to my mom. That might piss her off.
Wait, send her what?
Meme I just found.
Tip hit 500. I did hit 500 already.
It's a good meme.
Thank you, chat. Feed at 500. No. Oh, I will post about it on Twitter and I will put it in the Discord after stream. But again, thank you so much, chat.
Oh, that was funny.
Has a GitHub account with.
Wait, send me the meme. Oh.
I did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell my mom I don't think this is you, but
with some random projects scattered around. Anyways, finally with all those positions and GitHub stuff out of the way, let's finally get to Pirate Software, the company, and Jason's actual game development start. Let's take a look at his game dev skills, his game dev execution. With all his bragging, I'm sure this is going to be an incredible story with no issues at all. All right, so his first game his studio published was a game called Champions of Breakfast. This was a game roughly built in 8 months in the Game Maker engine. This was the first game that Jason claimed had the unpiratable DRM, where basically the game's Steam achievements acted as a save file. I'll touch on all these points again in just a bit, keep them in mind, while I move to his next and only other game, Heartbound. So Heartbound is the big game Pirate Software is known for, and it has a crazy development history. So according to the wiki, Heartbound's first build was October 7th, 2015. Again, this game was also made in Game Maker. It's a 2D game that's mostly story driven with extreme similarities
it's
to
a
Undertale.
Game Maker game?
Yes, it is.
Not shitting on anybody that uses Game Maker. In all sincerity. Because I know that Game Maker is a decent engine for people to get started before they want to go onto something great. And I know that Game Maker has been used to actually make video games. But you're telling me that this 20-year industry veteran is making his massive video game project in Game Maker?
Yes. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Man's a fucking fraud, man. Go ahead.
5 acts or chapters in total. A Kickstarter for the game was launched on February 24th, 2017, roughly a year and a half after work originally started on it. The original goal was to have the game finished and released by December 2017, but shortly after the launch, it was claimed the game was to be fully complete and released in early to mid 2018. A few months later, the goal was once again changed and now is targeting early access on Steam in December 2018. The game did land on Steam in December of 2018. In early access, this release contained a chapter 1 that was complete with a basically near fully done chapter 2. Gee, I hope this doesn't become a trend with delays, failed promises, and shifts in goals. Surely Jason will complete this game in a few more years, right? At the very start of January 2019, 2019, they released a patch where in the patch notes it said Animus, the name of chapter 3, was being developed. And this is where everything started truly going to hell. Now, we have a few things we should note here. This is technically the third year of development if we're going off the October 2015 first build date. If we compare this to Undertale, Undertale completed development in 2 years, 7 months, with Toby Fox doing most of the development solo, with some help from Tammy Chang on art. Also, let's just take a quick look at the How Long to Beat site and see how much content Undertale has. Okay, the main story is 7 hours. With side content, it's roughly 11 hours. A completionist run is 20.5 hours. Okay, pretty good and respectable times for an indie game built in 2 years, 7 months. Heartbound, as of 2025, is still in active development. So let's take a look at how much content time they have. All right, the main story is 2.5 hours. With side content, it's 3 hours, and a completionist run is 3.5 hours. The Pirate Software team has been working on this game for 10 years, currently more than 3 times as long as the Undertale team, and the Pirate Software team has 1 additional team member. Yeah, just think about that for a moment. Anyways, let's start diving through 2019 and Chapter 3 Animus development. For most of 2019, it seems like there was steady progress on Chapter 3 with various patches over the year. So far saying additional content was added. On October 2019, Jason tweeted that roughly 86% of Chapter 3 has now been completed. Then 2 years later, Jason tweets that Chapter 3 is now 92% done. So over 2 years, he made 8% progress on 1 chapter. 20 years of game dev industry experience, people, and 7 years working at Blizzard. Okay, let's rewind and go back to 2020 and see the Twitch statistics and see what was happening. Okay, the start of 2020 up till March seems like a normal stream schedule. Seems like he caught a cold on March 10th. Then after 9 days, he goes to urgent care and is diagnosed with pneumonia and gets a COVID test. Then we move to March 21st and COVID test results come back and it's negative. No COVID, just pneumonia. Wait, never mind. March 24th, Jason goes back to urgent care. Pneumonia was incorrectly diagnosed and he actually has severe bronchitis. All right, March 30th, he's still sick, but once again confirms negative for COVID. This is really important. All right, a few days later, April 10th, and his cold status is defeated and we're good to go. I know I'm being semi-joking in this section, but I generally don't wish Jason any health issues. All right, so then we move on to April 11th, 2020, and work on Heartbound has restarted. Work is continuing over the next few days. According to tweets, most of April was good, so was most of May 2020. We're still working on Heartbound at this point. Again, nearly all of the May prog is on Heartbound. Then we skip all the way over to July 2020, and work on Heartbound is still progressing. Seemed like there's some trouble during September, October, and November, with December being fine, and so is January of 2021 being fine. Then we hit February 2021, and then he tweets out he has had COVID for 9 months since the start of February of 2020. Wait, what? Jason was only sick in March according to his own tweets at that time period, and there's work from February from earlier, and there's proof he worked during April, May, June, July, and August at the very least, judging by his Twitch stats and his Steam announcements and patches for the game. It seems the only major slowdown of streams and work was 3 months of September, October, and November. Where he lost 9 months of time and had to stop development based on his tweets, I have no idea. I mean, it's not like he's going to change his story after this, right? Oh wait, there's this old tweet from November 2020 where Jason says he was recovering for nearly 8 months and couldn't daily stream or work. Let's look at the Twitch stats graph again and his tweets. He couldn't work during this period, but everything he posts during this time says he was working on Heartbound, and his Twitch stats confirm it. So does Steam. I mean, Jason wouldn't lie and change his story and opinions randomly, right? Especially not his loyal viewers and Heartbound fans. Let's skim the graphs and see what else we can see. Okay, 2021, minus the months of March, April, May, and June, his streaming is extremely good and consistent, with tons of stream days going past 10 hours and some days hitting 16 hours. 2020, about the same for March, April, May, and June, and September, with the rest of the months being slightly less consistent, but still more consistent than not. Then we get to 2023, and this is incredibly consistent with the stream averages being 6 to 8 hours per day. Let's start diving back into Jason's tweets. So on June 2023, he catches COVID again. Okay, that seems to match up with his Twitch stats graph. Here there's a clear week gone. Let's see what Jason says in July.
That was a hell of a thing. That's the second time I've gotten COVID. The first time took 9 months to recover. This one took probably about, I think it was in total about 20
he
days,
lied
so.
about COVID.
There's no point in time in
I'm not overly surprised about that.
He lied about COVID.
I mean, are you surprised? Because he seems to have a track record with lying.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. By the way, I was curious, how many other stories did we have after this? Because I think after this video, we should do the other stories.
This is it, actually.
Oh, this is it? All right, cool. Cool. Continue.
2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023, where he lost 9 months consecutively or stopped development for that period of time. He also in the clip claimed he got COVID twice in total. So that doesn't explain why there's 4 sections of gaps on development, since all these gaps are months apart and he only had COVID twice. Let's skip ahead to June 2024 and see what he says about these 4 years of development.
How long have you been working on this game? Was the coding a solo job? Yeah. Nobody else has touched the code base for Heartbound ever except for me. It's just me. I've been working on it for about 7 years, but I lost 2.5 years to COVID.
Okay, I hope at this point you realize his excuses for not working on Heartbound and his tweets are filled with complete BS.
That's a lot of time lost
in 2020,
for
3 months
COVID.
between September to October, where he had his first COVID period of inactivity. His second COVID was in June 2023. No matter how you try to arrange this and make sense of it, the numbers don't work out. Especially since we can see his 2023, he basically had a perfect stream schedule. And if we look at 2021 and 2022, there were only 2 gaps where he seems to be affected and they're months apart. Jason basically just decided to quit working on his game sometime during 2020 and has been making random excuses since then on why he hasn't made progress. Chapter 3 Animus, the reason we've been going through this chart started all the way back in January of 2019. If we look at the latest patch in 2025, work on Chapter 3 Animus is still going somehow. We have gone through through 6 years of development so far, and Jason hasn't been able to complete 14% of Chapter 3. Seriously, what the hell? Remember, Undertale took 2 years, 7 months to finish. The full entire game with 3 times as much content as what Heartbound is currently delivering in 2025, with 10 years of development time under its belt. To put this into even more perspective, let's look at Yandere Dev, a developer notorious for having no clue what he's doing programming-wise, and spends the majority of his day responding to emails and maybe spending a few minutes each day working on his game.
And it's an
He
alleged
makes more progress
pedophile.
and more consistently than Jason does. Seriously, I'm not joking. Here's the updated list for Yandere Dev starting in 2020. Yandere Dev has made more progress and more consistently in that year alone than Jason has in the last 5. We just might be living in a timeline where
Hold on a
Yandere Dev finishes
moment.
his game before Jason does.
And I guess I would need to ask Cameron about this, but Yandere Dev made more. That's quite an that is quite a fucking insult. And 3 hours of playing Genshin. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yesterday, I don't know if you were listening to him, but yesterday Cameron told us that Yandere Dev would play Genshin for 3 hours a day then in Discord, in like the programmer's Discord. And then he would spend 6 hours working on his game. And then he would just go back to doing other shit.
That's funny.
It is pretty funny. I'm gonna be honest, 6 hours of game dev, that's not bad. I don't know like what a normal amount of game dev is, but it's still funny that he would like sit. Maybe that's, again, I think Thor's big problem, chat. All right, Thor's big, massive, gigantic problem, that's what she said, that he has is that he won't stop streaming. He won't stop streaming, period. And so, excuse me, there's a we're already at the end of the video. There's a massive problem that like Yandere Dev, he doesn't stream. I imagine after the pedo allegations, I would never stream again myself either. Especially if they were close to being true, or I admitted to them. But like, I feel like Yandere Dev does way more work on his piece of shit game than Thor does. That's quite. I'll be honest. That's quite an insult. If I was Thor, I'd be like, man, that fucking sucks as an insult. I could not bear being told that I am worse than Yandere Dev. I would probably commit seppuku immediately. That like would ruin my entire life. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh fuck. Anyway, continue. Unless that's the end of the video.
Yeah, that is the end of the video.
Oh, okay.
But does. And yes, I might have got slightly crazy trying to plot 6 years of Animus development with conflicting tweets and time gaps onto Twitch stats graph.
Oh wow, that is just
literally just it.
He said in his last stream that he's actually adding a day of streaming. He is now also streaming on Wednesday.
Thor? Okay.
So that's how many days of streaming? Like a week?
Well, that's the problem. Is like I thought he streamed 5 to 6 days a week, which sometimes I think I stream too much because there is actually like a formula, chat, of finding the right amount of times to stream, and I'm considering dropping one of my days eventually. We'll see. I really do like the amount I do
you
stream.
can afford to do it though, because you're not like a game developer.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like there is an art to streaming. If you stream too much, then people can get tired of you. If you stream just enough, then people will enjoy your content and then come back for it. And if you stream too little, then sometimes people can forget about you. So there is like a good middleman, and I feel like 4 streams a week plus whatever I do on Thursday is a good middle ground, because the Thursday stream, in my personal opinion, doesn't count, at least for me.
Right. Yeah.
But like having 2 days off where I don't stream is pretty big deal in my opinion. Just because on those 2 days off, I can like literally lay in bed and mash. No, I'm just kidding. Can
you
goon
all
for
stream too much? Excuse me.
can goon for 6 hours after work.
Bull, I stream at like what, at most 5 times a week, and 2 of those is on Saturday. Now, admittedly, I do need to make more videos. I won't deny that. I do.
You do. Replace a streaming day with video making. Unless you turn your...
To be fair,
what I do.
Well, my Wednesday streaming is just like late, like 8 p.m. repo or whatever we decide to do.
Yeah.
I have all day to do whatever, and that's just like chill end of the day. I do Baldur's Gate once every other week. So I usually have the night or most of the day free for whatever I do.
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me. Anyway, all of that to really just say, chat, Thor streams too much. All right. I imagine he streams as often as he does because it's probably all he has, which can't possibly be true because he's got his ferrets. He's got his ferrets that he has to take care of.
Ferrets.
He's got his wife that he has to take care of. Again, I don't know how man can stream for 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, because I evaluate my time spent streaming. If I stream for 4 hours out of the night, that's my night gone, basically.
Yep.
And then Wednesday is one of those days where it's just like, okay, I don't do anything on Wednesday except for go to the store. Because if I do anything else on Wednesday, it can take away from my preparation for my Wednesday stream. Because for Wednesday, I don't actually tell people. I haven't told people. But on Wednesdays, I usually give 2 to 3 hours of prep time for the Wednesday stream because I'm live for 3 to 6 hours talking about shit. And so, you know, you can't really do a whole. I can't really do a whole lot on Wednesday. How does that not fry a person? I don't know. Chad, I used to do the thing where I streamed every single day, and that does burn you out. It burns you out, and it burns your audience out, which is, again, why I feel like I might eventually just get rid of a streaming day. It might be Friday. I don't know just yet. We'll see. Because like I like streaming on Wednesday. I like my double streams on Wednesday because I like streaming on Wednesday then playing games that night. Allows me to unwind. I really do enjoy Saturday streams and Sunday streams. So it might be Friday. We'll see. We will see. Because all of my stream days are extremely like people really enjoy them, and because of my growth right now, you know, I have to wait and see. I'll have to take a look at when my audience tunes in the least, which is kind of hard to do because my audience is pretty consistent, and we'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. I just look at Thor and I'm just like, this man's gonna burn. He is burning him. See, like I would say he is burning himself out because he is. He is completely burning himself down ragged to the ground. And part of the problem is, and again, I'll use myself for example, when you stream as often as he does, his emotion, because I do believe that there's like a physical, a mental, maybe even an emotional toll that you have happen to you when you do nothing but stream all of the fucking time. Because you're on all the time. It's like a form of public speaking. Like you're not in front of people, but you are in front of people. You just can't see them. And the fact that he is on 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, entertaining people, pretending to be this big macho guy, inflecting his voice so that his voice sounds super duper awesome and sexy. Like, man, that really does like wear on you after a while. I couldn't imagine doing that. Stream too much, you drop the mask. Yes, that is also another problem, chat, is streaming has the big problem for people that unless you're a composed individual like I attempt to be, you end up like showing more and more of your personal life than you may be willing to do so.
You do.
I think that's another big problem with him because he's like speed running it. Because the more he streams, the more clippable moments you're going to get where he's going to say something stupid. The more times you're going to see him like decide to do stupid things, and it's just going to tear him down. Like it typically takes 5 to 10 years for this kind of shit to happen. But Pirate Software has been like a big streamer for the last 2 to 3 years, and he's already flopping massively in terms of public perception, which public perception outside of his audience is massively unpopular. He is massively, massively unpopular outside of his own viewer base.
No, he really is, yeah.
So it is only a matter of time before we see him like I mean, we're already kind of there, where he just starts to lash out more and more and falls into lolcoutum.
He's getting there.
Sorry, I spoke too much. Now it's your turn.
Oh no, you're fine. You basically said what I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're fine.
So
You said it better than I did.
yeah,
Well, I would have.
fair enough. I don't feel like I'm that good of a public speaker, but thank you.
I'm not a great public speaker. Like, I mean, you could tell. Like, even like if we're around other people, I just shut up. I don't talk. Streaming has actually gotten me like better at that.
Yeah, that's good. Potatoes
Either
can
way.
stream.
He's the gaming version of Hassan. I wouldn't go that far. Because at least not Gamers Nexus, Pirate Software does at least something good.
Ferrets, sure.
Yeah, the ferrets.
Yeah, that's the
Like, I'm
one
not gonna
redeeming
condemn him
quality.
100%, but like, at least he's good to his animals.
Although I guess some people would argue that him having his animal preserve is like a way to, this is kind of a catch-22 because there really is no winning with this. But saying that he's like a good guy, he's altruistic because of his animal thing, it's both fair and unfair to say that like that is a way for him to not get sympathy, but to not be held to any kind of criticism. It's just like, oh, why are you criticizing the guy that has a ferret preserve that saves ferrets, that puts them in macaroni baths all day? That's what it comes down to. And it's just like, well, I'm allowed to criticize the guy regardless of whether or not he has a ferret preserve, because it's just like, ferrets didn't do anything wrong, but he did. So, you know.
No,
Ferret horde.
It's always fair to criticize someone. To just think, criticizing someone is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
If you're willing to take the criticism, that could help you improve as a person. He's just shoved his head so far up his ass, he won't take said criticism.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that that redeeming quality of him kind of gets overshadowed by all the dumb bullshit he's done as a human being. Because just like when I think about Thor, I don't think about the ferrets anymore. The only time I think about the ferrets is when I see Junie, who is the ferret VTuber, and say, "You're the ferret that got away, the ferret that lived." No. But yeah.
So, to switch gears, because we're done with the Pirate Software stuff.
To end off tonight.
Final Fantasy IX is 25 years old today. And literally means today. 25.
What was that? Final Fantasy 9?
9.
That's insane. I've never played Final Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy 9 is actually the one that's rumored to be getting a remake right now.
Okay.
And is actually, and I really don't want this to turn you away from it, because I've heard 9 is a fantastic story. But 9 is the basis of what Dawntrail is based on, at least the second half.
The second half. I mean, the second half wasn't terrible. I just decided to stop playing again.
I know. Well, we'll never get our Rathalos.
Broski, you just have to say, "Can we do Rathalos?" And I will say yes. Stop acting like you can't say, "Hey, let's schedule a day." Because unironically, I haven't seen you ask Malice and Dom for a day. And I know it's because they're busy. I know it's because they're busy. I know, but I'll give you right back.
9 is good, 7 is better, 6 is best. I'm playing 6. I really like 6. I will give you my opinions after I play 7 and 9 myself. I've played the 7 remakes, but not original 7. No, Jess. So in Final Fantasy 14, there is a Monster Hunter crossover where you can fight Rathalos and get Rathalos as a mount. And I want the mount. But it is a 4-person activity, and Akko made me promise to not get Rathalos without him.
Yeah, and you've never tried to schedule it, so.
I have. Bullshit. You know it's a lie.
Yeah, okay. You've done it once or twice, and the times you've scheduled it, I've not been the one to say I'm not coming. You know that. So
Anyway, we do have one more thing. We can skip it or be done, or talk about it. It's not very big. I don't hear an objection.
how long is it?
It's just a small article.
Okay, go ahead.
Phil Spencer announces that Microsoft is laying off 9,000 workers.
Oh no.
We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness.
Kind of feel bad for some of these people, but it is Microsoft.
Hopefully this will fix things on the Windows side. I doubt it will, but we can hope. So this is what was in the post. Today we are sharing decisions that will impact colleagues across our organization to position gaming for enduring success and allow us to focus on strategic growth areas. We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Out of respect for those impacted today, the specifics of today's notifications and any organizational shifts will be shared by your team leaders in the coming days. Surprise! I recognize that these changes come at a time when we have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before. Our platform, hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger. The success we're seeing currently is based on tough decisions that we've made previously. We must make choices now for continued success in future years, and a key part of that strategy is to discipline or to prioritize the strongest opportunities. We will protect what is thriving and concentrate effort on areas with the greatest potential while delivering on the expectations the company has had for our business. This focused approach means we can deliver exceptional games and experiences for players of generations to come. God, dude, you didn't need to say all that.
All this over some layoffs?
Yeah. He basically repeated himself 3 times in that short window. Oh, God. Anyway, that's it, chat.
That's it.
That's Dogwave.
That's Dogwave. Sorry,
Again,
I'm getting tired.
It's fine. That little bit of energy came out with that last Pirate Software rant, and then the energy went from high to...
Went from high to bye.
It's fine. Again, chat, thank you for 500. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Now,
it actually means a lot to me.
Now you can get partially monetized.
I can.
Although, chat, he can't do that. Do you want to know why he can't do that?
It's a personal thing I'm actively in the works of fixing.
Oh,
right now.
Okay. You don't want to say? Fair enough.
No.
Okay.
Because that is private.
Fair enough.
I have a limit on what I talk about. That's private.
Fair enough. We'll leave that one.
Otherwise, I guess after Final Fantasy VI, we'll be starting Resident Evil 7. It's really close, chat. Really close. Because you don't usually let me. Repo on Wednesday.
I'll let you
Final
what?
Fantasy 6 on Friday. No, Repo or Peak. Repo or Peak on Wednesday.
It would probably be Repo.
Final Fantasy 6 on Friday. We might be doing a longer stream to maybe finish the game on Friday. We'll see. Something on Saturday. I'll figure it out. No Baldur's Gate this week. And Dogwave this time next week?
Yes. Okay.
What are you doing next week?
Normal shit.
Normal shit.
Yeah. I gotta prep because next week is the week before my birthday.
The birthday.
On Wednesday and Thursday, my days off. I gotta do some things. I gotta record a new sponsor segment for Advanced, and I should record one for Uwu Market. I also need to start prepping the list for the birthday stream and things that I can reasonably give to people for being for deciding to celebrate my birthday with me. Things like update the throne.
I will
and
probably
stuff.
also be helping you with that and probably being on stream quite a bit with you when you do that. We'll see.
It's only gonna be a 24-hour stream.
Yeah. So.
So
anyway, yeah. Who do we want to raid?
I'm giving everybody to Lumi, but I do have Supas to read, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Simez for 20. I don't know what that is, but thank you very much. High Rage, very much appreciated. We'll jump back over to YouTube and read the YouTube stuff. Let me refresh the page because the page is deciding it doesn't want to work. Happy birthday, enjoy the stuff. I appreciate that, Lore Master. My birthday is next month. Happy birthday. My birthday is this month. Crendel Bundy for 10. Should we send pics with naughty German books in the background? If you take pictures of yourself in my merch with German books in the background, I do not take ownership of you, and I have every right to ban you if you act retarded. But just don't act retarded, and I won't ban you. Knox, thank you for
normal
being
human beings.
Thank you for becoming an Uber member. I hope you enjoy your time here. Excuse me.
An Uber Goober?
Yes. Rage for 10. I'd like to take this time to say congrats, Toby. Clearly you're better than Grums and Pirate because you can actually release a product. Also, you can't unrape. You can't unrape the deer, Toby. What?
What?
Okay, I don't know if that's spoilers for Deltarune Chapter 2, but I don't want to know. Or Chapter 3.
Well,
I don't want to know.
Here's what's funny about Toby is
I heard that there was like a rape scene in the most recent thing.
I have no idea. But like we give Pirate Software and Grum so much shit because they work on their games. Meanwhile, Toby has released Undertale. He has released Deltarune. He has actively made music for Pokemon Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. So like he is actively working on his own games and working with Nintendo. Meanwhile, Pirate Software and Grumps. Just saying. Toby doing good for himself. Octo had a stroke, clearly.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't know why it's doing it. I need to fix it. But I think the smug is fine, so it's not that big of a deal. Mercenary for 2. I remember the 4chan host of April Fool's joke. Thanks. Simez for 10 PLN. Are the Streamlabs messages disabled? No, they are not. I did enable it to where now they should work with text-to-speech if you donate more than $4.99 USD, whatever converts. And so, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Mercenary for 2. I don't know why, but Rage's laugh is so infectious. People have said the same thing about me, but yes, it is. Super Iron Bob for 10. VTubing is harder and does not work well on Linux. Anyone claiming otherwise isn't a VTuber or is coping. Well, Temp isn't a VTuber, so he's definitely coping.
Wait, what?
Wolfsbane for 5. It's true, I had a much easier time working in C++ than Python. Hated Python with a passion. A lot of sleepless nights trying to get code working. Thank you. Rasmus for 20 DKK. C hash? C, or is that C+? C+ gang rise up. Also, hello, MommaOcco. Hello. Wolfsbane for 5. Wait, he has no notes on his code. Is he insane? How can anybody bug fix anything if you don't have notes telling them the code's intention? Well, because he's the only one that's going to touch it. Obviously, he's going to remember everything. So, you know, whatever. And then Victorian Orphan for 5. Old Moldavius, rise the short bus of game development. That's very mean, chat. That's very mean.
I just realized that I thought Deltarune was done. I was wrong.
No, I think he's got more chapters coming after, but
Chapter 4 next year. Probably. No. Chapter 5 next year.
I was gonna say that chapter 3 and 4 was released
Yeah, it
this
was 3 and
year.
4.
So
5 and 6 are still coming.
yeah, I'm gonna raid Lumi. So
Yep, I'm gonna raid Lumi as well. Chat, behave for Lumi.
you don't have to behave for
for the
Lumi.
fish.
You don't have to behave for her. You can be
I
derogatory.
want my chat to behave.
She's a woman. She's a woman, and she's derogatory, and she's a friend. So
Fair.
I will
All right.
see you guys on Wednesday for Hump Day. Oh, before we leave chat, I have one more clip I want to show you, and then we're just gonna leave you off.
Son, listen carefully. I am an officer of the court investigating a felony.
To like.
All right, bye chat. You